What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the pre-show of the 4th annual Codex Awards. We have our normal gang with us with two special guests with us, Travis from Comics Limited and Ryan. I always get it wrong, Classes Collector. I always want to say Colossal. What's going on, guys?
He is a colossal collector.
Yeah.
Colossal Collector.
I am.
See?
Thanks for having us on.
Hello,
Hey,
Richard.
Richard.
Happy New Year,
Happy
Richard.
New Year, buddy.
Richard.
Beast is not an Avenger. Come on.
Beast is an
Killing me,
Avenger. And look, and whatever
Is that the
what
biggest
Dan
surprise of the year?
posted the other day, why does the X-Men treat the Beast like that? That's why he left.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's
Thank
why he
you.
left. They treat him like a chump.
Thank you.
Yes. And he never got laid with the X-Men. He got laid on he got
Abigail
laid
Brand.
constantly with the
I can
Avengers.
see
Yeah,
Ryan taking the
I was
hat
going
down.
to say
over there.
Abigail Brand and him were
Thank
together
you.
in the
Yep.
X-Men. So
You
I was
know
gonna say
what?
Trish,
He
but I
was
think Trish was with him with X Factor.
with the that's true. That's true. But with the Avengers, he had a foursome over a 3-day weekend. You want to tell me that wasn't better?
This is not an award show without
He-
talking about foursomes.
He got with
Force.
Dazzler too, so
Well,
What,
he,
Adam?
he was spreading that blue fur all around.
Doc and Geek.
And Jarvis could clean it up, right?
That's
evening.
right. Jarvis was cleaning it up. That's right. When he, even though he was blue from head to toe, when he was an Avenger, certain part of his anatomy wasn't blue at all.
All right. Well,
Ah.
enough.
hey,
Oh, Mike.
Hey guys,
What's up?
what up, Mike?
Hey, Mike.
Hey,
I'm
Mike.
having a little camera issue here, so.
Oh, you got time. We're in the pre-show.
all
But
right.
as usual, we have a whole assortment of categories for you guys this year. Once again, don't forget we got our Legacy Award at the very end, and we have a special one this year that our very own Uncle Gary is going to present. So
Well,
make sure
who-
you stick around to the
wonder
very
who that could be. I got lucky.
end. Zeb Wells.
Zeb Wells.
Wells.
We can talk about how great he is now.
In honor of Tim, you know, if Tim had hung with us a little bit longer, he could have prevented that. He failed before he had enough input to torpedo the Zeb Wells Legacy Award.
He's still president of the fan club.
He is.
Always.
I thought Heidi Gardner was.
But guys, categories this year, so we can get them through real fast, is
Yeah.
the prize of the year, best artist, best writer, best current series, best series read, best event, top publisher, cover of the year, and to top it all off, Legacy Award.
Gonna be a good show.
All right.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
I can't do that again. Someone else has to take all that. Who remembered? Pop quiz time.
I have
Well,
a
thank you, Mr.
document.
Keith.
I was a little frightened
This
when you
is the
said
Brady
somebody
Bunch.
had to take all of that.
Oh God! But yeah, Travis, again, Ryan, thank you guys for being special guests on this one. You know, I've been wanting to work with both of you for a while now. Just schedules in the line. I'm so happy to have you guys on. So thank you for taking the time again.
Absolutely. Happy to be
Thanks for
here.
having
Thank
us.
you for asking. I really appreciate it. Yes.
All right, you guys. Well,
Awesome.
Mike. Ah.
Mike, we can hear you, but we can't see you.
Yeah, I'm an invisible man.
Well,
I'm not sure what's going on with the camera.
then there's no
Maybe
point
for
in
the
putting your
best.
pants on.
Well, you know,
Wait a minute, we were
Wait,
supposed to wear pants?
Well,
What's up,
Hey,
man?
Pam.
well, Mike, you know, usually
Uh-oh,
you
here's
can't. But
trouble.
Mike has
Chris is
to.
tripping.
Here's trouble.
Oh, God.
Yeah, this is gonna be the best year yet.
Yeah.
Oh,
Mike, if you haven't found Uncle Gary could help you fix it. We know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you need
yeah,
tech support.
yeah, I know. I need to get Gary to help me with this one.
Yeah, I know. I'll bring a sledgehammer over. That's the extent of my help.
That's what it needs.
I'll treat your computer the way Sonny treats action figures.
Oh, no.
Ooh.
Too
It'll
soon?
be good. It'll be good then.
It'll be good. Why is the screen over there and the keyboard over there?
I'm gonna have to
It'll be
send you
memorable.
that, I'll send you that crime scene bag then.
Yeah,
The one I
the
was gonna
chalk
send.
outline.
Mhm.
Funny, which was the figure that you said you wanted and then you never got as a kid? Was it Chameleon?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then he found it
When
at
you had
C2
kids
and went,
to buy it.
next time.
Yeah, you
Next
had
time,
the chance
yeah.
to buy it. You did. Next time I go to a show that has one, I'm going to buy the figure. I'm going to pull all the parts off. I'm going to put it in that crime scene bag, and then I'm going to mail it to you.
Oh, man, you're torturing me.
You should
Should actually
mail
put
him
them in separate crime scene bags and mail it
Yeah,
to them at different
a
times.
piece at a time.
Yes.
Mail him
One
a piece at a time.
You're going to be like Brad Pitt at the end of 7. What's in the box?
I will. I'll make a video. I'll do it online. I'll do it when we
Hmm.
have our episode of the podcast.
You know my favorite thing that Sonny's done so far this year? He did a trailer about a trailer
There you go, Chris.
for Superman.
Oh, yeah, the teaser.
And all I can think of is a series about a series because he did the same thing.
All right, Mike. Mike, Adam is saying try pulling the USB out and plugging it back in, and check your video capture device settings in the program you guys use. Or just
While you're at it,
Let's
hack,
call
hack the CIA or someplace like that. Get in there and
If-
try to reprogram their computers to redo your camera.
If we're the Brady Bunch, Travis is Alice.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to look out.
Awesome.
Oh no, I have to look.
Keep going down. I have to look up. I look down.
We are the
I'm gonna
best.
drop out
fucking
and try to
family
log
around.
back in. Maybe that'll fix it.
Yeah.
Who's Marsha then?
Gary.
What side? Marsha would have been at the top on one of the ends. I can't
Oh,
remember.
sale. It's sale.
I'm okay. I'm okay with that.
Sail.
Just imagine if you broke that nose.
Mm. Wow. Wow.
All right, so it
It's
was
never been
Mar-
broken. Thank you
so
very much.
according to the Brady Bunch, I just looked it up. So Jamie would be Marsha. Sonny would be the middle girl.
Jan. I'd be Cindy. Cindy.
Yeah, Cindy. Gary, no, Cindy was the youngest one, wasn't she?
Right.
Yeah.
Cindy's at
Yeah.
the bottom.
I
Yeah,
love how
Gary
this is
would
the
be
comic
Cindy.
award.
I would be the mom. Who was it? Ryan would be the dad.
Ryan is, yep.
Sal is Greg.
Oh, there you go.
Evan is whatever the middle boy
Peter.
Peter.
was.
I'll take it.
And then Mike.
Mike is the invisible Bobby.
And then Mike is Bobby.
See, I'm glad we got that worked out.
Yes,
Yes.
I'm so glad that
That
we
was
took the
really,
time.
really
I can sleep
important.
easier now than I did.
I feel better now. I actually feel like I've won all the awards.
You have, and Alice was integral to that show.
She
Let's
was.
be realistic. I'm your cousin Oliver.
Alice wasn't in there, was she? Because the Brady Bunch logo was in the middle.
Well, then Alice
would
pops in
appear.
right at the end.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
so
right,
show
that's
the Brady
right.
Bunch logo, and then it would be Alice, and she'd be looking around at everybody. And
Mhm.
He's looking around at all of them like, look at all you damn slobs I got to clean up. After.
They in the Brady Bunch movie, Sam the butcher came out of a room. They said, "Sam, what are you doing here?" He goes, "I'm delivering the meat."
Yes, he
Yeah,
was.
all right.
I like what Talking Geek said in the comments. So
What'd he
we're
say?
all one messed up Brady Bunch.
Everyone, could see, yeah.
Was that the
Yeah.
Christmas movie when he got stuck in the building collapse and like everybody was singing the Christmas Carol and it gave him the strength to climb his way out?
Shh, that was my best event of the year.
Yeah.
Away now.
Yeah, 30 years ago.
You know, I hadn't finished watching that episode. You just ruined it.
Spoiler alert.
Sorry.
yeah, spoilers, man, spoilers.
Oh,
What do you? I was gonna say, what do you watch like 1 minute a year until you?
That's right.
I had 5 minutes to go.
and it didn't finish. Oh God, I want Mike back so we can start.
He'll be back in a minute.
You're not enjoying this Brady Bunch chatter?
Oh my God, we went from comics to Brady Bunch.
You know what?
Is there a Brady Bunch comic book out there, Uncle Gary? You
I
might
think
have it.
half the yes,
There's gotta
there had to have been.
Nice.
I think most of the
Wouldn't
people
surprise
on
me.
on this screen here weren't even born when it went off the air. Because then would it go off the air like 72, 73?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
If we were 73, I was born.
I was non-existent during that
Yeah.
decade.
See. Yeah. Only us old fogies were there, part of that. gene.
Yep.
Wasn't there the story that Barry Williams was nailing Florence Henderson?
Yes.
The mom.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, because the dad wasn't.
Yeah.
The dad was definitely not doing it.
You're right.
I
You're,
got that reference.
That was his badass moment.
you're right, Pam. That was Mike Brady's badass moment.
Yeah,
Here you go. Comic character of the week
Right.
coming up.
Oh man. Well, you know,
Oh,
it was his stepmom. It was okay.
Yeah.
I think I've seen those videos.
1974 is
They're
when
very
the Brady
nice.
Bunch went
Oh,
off,
okay,
off the air,
74.
and I was born. I was
Oh,
already
you
born
were
in
born, all
73.
right.
So
There you go. So who did?
Welcome to the club.
Yeah, who wasn't? We got what? Sonny wasn't around in '74.
No.
Dan wasn't, right?
No, I was
No.
79.
No, Ryan, were you around '74? I don't think so.
No.
And we know
I was
Jamie
about
wasn't.
a decade away from
A decade away. Yeah, we know Jamie
first
wasn't born
appearance.
until what? No, the year 2000. He was a Y2K baby.
Mhm.
what?
There's 1 week where me and Jamie are the same age.
Yeah, 1 week apart.
Yeah.
Well, you're 1 week
And-
apart. Wow.
Mhm.
Dell Comics put out the Brady Bunch as a comic book.
I
Oh,
knew there had
It's
to
a
be one.
15 center. Number one was in 1970.
Wow.
There wasn't
Travis,
one
stop showing your useful.
more IP that wasn't
I'm
during
not.
the-
I'm not putting that comment up. Chris.
Yeah.
Chris,
We're
see,
trying to
you're
behave.
off to a good
But I love
start
Full House talk.
when Chris's comments cannot be shown. Chris will have to.
The Brady Bunch was like not much later, but I thought it was later than 74 or 73 rather.
That sounds about right.
74.
I remember their little AstroTurf backyard that was ridiculous.
All right. Yeah. Wow.
Well, I'm looking at the IMDb page, man, and like the picture they have for Christopher Knight on here, he looks just like Fat Mike from NoFX if he had normal colored hair.
That's funny.
Christopher Knight, that was the middle kid. Yeah.
Yeah, Peter.
That's right,
Peter.
Richard.
That's right.
That
Richard.
is
They
so.
appeared
That's
in Hulk
Richard.
180.
That's right.
That's right. Yeah, they first.
You know,
appeared.
what happened to TJ?
Oh, 180. That's-
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't seen TJ in a while.
Yeah,
I hope
I
TJ's
was
okay.
talking about this the other day. TJ has not been in a chat in like months.
I hope he's okay.
Well, you know, Chris probably said something to offend him.
Probably.
So if anybody wants to pick up the Brady Bunch right now, there's a one selling on a 6.0 graded on eBay, selling for $399.90.
Was it a
Well,
one and done?
yeah,
Was
yeah.
that the only one they did?
What was that?
Was that a one and done issue?
No, it looks like they actually had more than one issue. I didn't pull up Cover Price to look at all the issues or even my comic shop, but definitely it definitely had more than one issue. They had there was
Two.
definitely a number 2.
It had 2 issues, and then there was another one done later by another company. I have to look it up.
Yeah, there's a couple different series of Brady Bunch comics that came out, as well as coloring books and fun kite books.
I
And
mean,
there's actually no, that was Gen 13 homaging the Brady Bunch. Okay.
yeah, there were 2 issues done by Dell in
Yep.
1970, and then the Brady Bunch Kite Fun Book by Western in 1976.
Yep.
Could you look up Full House comics? 'Cause now there's a comic. Yeah.
Yeah. Now that we're on this,
Also, Boy Meets World. I know there is one. Oh.
I have it graded.
That is true, Adam. That
Real
is so
fast,
true.
since we're still in the pre-show. Why don't we give our guests a little bit of time to speak on their channels and what they do for those who might not know what they are doing?
Is this a little bit of pre-show immaculation?
Yes, it is.
Is that what we're doing?
Yeah, we're gonna get that once we can get Mighty Mike up there. So, Travis, why don't you tell everybody what you do creatively on Instagram, YouTube, wherever they can find you?
Well, so you can find me on Instagram, YouTube, whatnot, and eBay actually, and I do a multiple amount of things. I can't talk to right now, but for the most part, I'm creating with YouTube. I'm creating short videos where I do comic book hauls. Sometimes I'm sending out images of books I'm selling. Just the general stuff. Plus, I also, as an artist, I'm also posting a lot of my art through video format. As I complete pieces for people, I then go and I make a video and I show kind of the process of how I did it. Well, not necessarily a drawing video, but kind of all the stages all the way through that I've taken pictures of. And you know, I mean, as you see these boxes behind me, I do sell on everywhere, wherever I can. And so I do that every Thursday morning. I have a Whatnot show, and then there's my eBay store is always open. And as for you know, creative outlets, I love hanging out with my friends. That's the main reason why I got onto YouTube, was to hang out with folks like Colossus Collector, and as well as Big B McFly and a few other folks you guys all know very well. And you know, Richard Westfall. And by the way, I met Richard this last in September. We helped out together on the
Heroes for Heroes.
Heroes for Heroes. Thank you so
nice.
much. And it was awesome. We worked together. Richard was, you know, just like, he was the comic guy, putting everything together for people, putting the packages together, and he had it all set up so that I could take it and ship. And it was really amazing. So it was a lot of fun hanging out with him too. So, but that's what I do. That's the fun I do. And I do a lot of sketch covers right now. I've got I think I have 5 pieces in the works.
Awesome. The ones you showed on here, I think you showed some on before, right? That were
I did.
we loved. Yep. So
yeah, and Richard actually is getting 3. Has bought 3 sketch covers
Wow.
from me, and I'm working on it. So, and I just actually finished the rough sketch of the 3rd one to this morning. So while I was, you know, when you're sitting at work and there's nothing to do, I find that it's easy for me to go ahead and sketch, because then I don't feel like I'm distracted from what I'm doing, because you know, it's cathartic being an artist. You draw, and sometimes it helps just thinking through things and stuff like that. So yeah, it's a infinity gauntlet. So
well, good for Richard supporting some of these artists we have here.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Big shout out to Richard.
Absolutely.
Is a true patron of the arts.
Yes, he is.
yes, definitely.
Floor is yours.
Hey, Gary, do you want to
yeah.
text me Mike's phone number?
Just
I
say
give
it
him a
on here.
shout?
Just tell it on here.
Yeah,
Yeah, just
shout
come
out
out
to the world.
there, man. It's okay.
Well, if you have the NAMBLA hotline, you can reach.
I can still hear you. You know that, don't you?
Listen, I was going to be upset if you couldn't.
This is true. Take a shot, get a shot.
Take
Thank
a
you,
shot.
Richard.
You know, take a shot. That was a pretty good line, though, wasn't it?
That's
Yeah.
right. Be careful. He's going to be like, accuse you of gaslighting him.
Oh,
That's true.
Oh,
Don't
no,
do
no,
that.
I'm making no jokes about Rob. Rob had a tragedy this weekend. His brother died, so I'm not giving Rob any grief or any shade. So,
Okay.
and I want to give him some love. So we, Rob, you know, not Rob's not going to be watching or anything, but we just wanted to let me just put it out there in the ether anyway. So,
Yeah.
Well, just remember too, when you dial that NAMBLA number, Sal, Chris will be the one that
And
answers the phone
Chris
and directs you to the appropriate appropriate line.
Yeah.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
It's Chris. It'll be the inappropriate line.
Yeah.
All right, Ryan, now is your chance. Well, we got a second break here.
Tell yourself. Yep.
Yeah, no worries. Well, thanks again for having me on. I am the Colossus Collector. You can find me on Instagram and YouTube at Colossus Collector. And I am a collector of comics, a creator of content about comics, and I do videos and then also do some live stream stuff. And looking forward to a big 2025, visiting cons, making stuff for the channel, and buying lots of books and reading books. So yeah, big year ahead, and looking forward to that. And please subscribe, like, comment, share, all those good things, please.
Yeah,
Awesome.
everyone here, make sure you go do that for all the channels.
Yeah.
Yep. I follow both of them.
So do I.
Good stuff.
Hey, Sonny.
Very cool.
Yes.
Full House Incompatible was put out by Cover Park Media. Full House Volume 1, Wu Song Yeon, and it was printed in Seoul, Korea, and you can. I don't know if you can get it, but it's you know, it's your manga looking
Wow.
Somebody get it from me. My birthday's in a few months.
Okay, but
Anybody
what's
of my
the first
generation-
appearance of Kimmy Gibbler?
Ah.
Yes, they need their first parents. Can we give her?
I would say anybody of my generation that says they didn't grow up with the hugest crush on Kelly Kapowski is a liar.
Which one was Kelly Kapowski?
Saved by the
Oh,
Bell.
yeah.
Tiffany
one?
Amber Thiessen.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay, I got you.
that's true. There was a Saved by the Bell comic book too.
One of many early '90s teenage heartthrobs.
Gotcha. Yeah, I know who she is now. I guess I was beyond that.
She went from Saved by the Bell to I guess it was 90210 or Melrose Place, like one of those two.
One of the two. They're
Sure.
very similar.
Yeah.
I think
She
she
grew
was
up.
90210, and then she did Saved by the Bell the college years.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
she's,
Some Hallmark movies now.
but she was on White Collar too.
Yeah, she was.
She wasn't a main character, but she was on there.
Yeah.
See,
I'm stuck with the Pink Ranger since like the youngest.
Oh,
Yeah, okay.
She's from Toronto.
Kimberly. What was
Yeah.
her name? Kimberly.
Kimberly.
Amy Jo Johnson.
Amy.
Oh, yeah.
I saw her walking down the street in Toronto one time. We lived in the same neighborhood for a short little while.
She's a little bitty thing, I bet, right?
I didn't say anything, but I was like, "That's the Pink Ranger."
If you get too close, she might kick you. You know.
Yeah.
Getting too close.
Since
Yeah.
I'm so old, I was a different era. So, my problem was I couldn't decide on which one of Charlie's Angels I wanted, so I was just going to collect them all.
Why not?
Jamie,
Why not be Charlie?
Jamie,
Well,
if you
Charlie
like
was collecting them all, that's for sure.
her- Amy, if you like her, make sure to go rent the movie Pursuit of Happiness from 2001.
Yeah.
Will Smith.
Just saying, you'll enjoy it.
That's not the Will Smith one, right?
No,
Well, all right.
Finally, someone agrees with me.
and yeah, White. Oh no, dude. She was hot. And yeah, White Collar was a great movie. Matt Bomer would have been an interesting choice for Superman.
Yeah.
It seems like anybody that was in this certain age range at that point was in the role for Superman, because we've all seen that picture of Brendan Fraser in the Christopher Reeve suit.
Oh,
Yeah,
Hey.
Finally, in his luxurious
he does
mansion.
exist.
oh, Barbie Benton. That was Hefscow. Barbie Benton, Chris. I
Nice
do.
background.
All right. Now we
Nice
can kick
background.
this show off, shall we?
Mike Stone getting
Yeah,
his
sure.
massage and his
Literally.
fancy home.
I'm trying, living on the life.
All
Don't
right.
forget
So,
about Catherine Bach.
Ooh, Catherine
Yes.
Bach.
Daisy.
Yeah.
all right, let's get this show on the road, shall we? Kick
Do
off
it.
the 4th annual
Do it.
Codex Awards. See you guys in about a minute. And welcome everyone to the 4th annual Codex Awards. We have Dan.
Wow, Dan got dressed up.
Hey,
Man,
Does that just clip on in the back? Jesus.
You have a phone booth back here,
What
Dan?
did you say?
It just clips on the shirt.
Dan reversed Superman's. He puts
was like-
the suit and tie on.
There's something going on here. But guys, welcome. We got our whole crew here, along with some special guests. We have Travis from Comics Limited and Ryan from Colossus Collector. Thank you guys once again for coming on. Yes, please do. It helps the channel grow and helps all the other channels do the same as well. We are going to be going over this year the biggest surprise: top artist, top writer, best series read, best current series, best event. I'm trying to remember everything. Top publisher, cover of the year, and our legacy award this year.
Hey, Jamie, we match.
I know I'm like reverse
Twinsies.
spot.
Wait.
Twinsies.
I'm sorry. Which of you is Jamie and which of you is Dan?
You're
Wow.
about to get kicked off.
Hey, me and Mike are matching lumberjacks today. We got our flannel.
You know it.
All right. So shall we kick this one off with biggest surprise of the year?
Sure.
Beastie
Yeah,
Boy.
do it.
All right. I'm going to take this one first, and I'm going to cheat a little bit if I can
Uh-oh.
click my
He's
name
cheating.
here.
Cheating.
There we go. So I actually have two.
Oh,
One
he's-
comic,
that's a
one
shocker.
comic related, one something that happened this past year that was big. The first one I'm gonna say is DC bringing back the Vertigo imprint. I didn't think that was gonna happen, and then sure enough, my Nice House by the Lake had the Vertigo logo on there. They did it like that. So I'm really ecstatic to see what they're gonna show off and what they're gonna either bring back or do with that imprint. My second one, which I'm cheating a little bit, was the fact that the whole team got together in Baltimore. And everything that went on, and including, because I've shown it off 3,000 times, but having Tom King actually ask for my marriage proposal and doing a video for it too, which
That's
was,
beautiful.
that came together in literally a week's time, and that is thanks to Uncle Gary as well and the whole team for being secretive and putting that together.
Mhm.
So those are my surprises. Dan.
I just went with one comic related, and it was the end of Wolverine issue 41. It was the first, the last story arc in that before they canceled it to restart it and did the whole, end of the Krakoa age. And it was the first part of the Sabretooth War, which was an awesome storyline to end it. But the way that that first part ended, where it had Sabretooth attacking, and it just ended where he had dismembered Wolverine's son, Daken, and had other mutants that he had dismembered and spelled out a message with their body parts for Wolverine. And this was before Blood Hunt, before they did the Red Band books and all that. And I remember, and it had like a little, parental advisory, a warning thing on the front. But I still remember reading that and thinking, holy shit, I can't believe that they did that with a mainstream Marvel book with one of their most popular characters, and they have dismembered by, and like clearly it wasn't like they were hiding it or anything. You could tell what it was. That kind of surprised me. And I also have to say, yes, Richard, you were right. You have never seen me and Superman in the same room together.
We'll have to investigate that further.
All right. Uncle Gary.
All right. Well, on a small minor note, on a surprise, since Jamie talked about the Vertigo line, was DC bringing back the DC Bullet. I was very surprised about that, but I am very happy to see that bit of tradition in. But mine is a series that I picked up, and I was blown away by how good it was. I didn't expect it, and it was a pleasant surprise. And that's Zorro, Man of the Dead. I love this by
Nice.
Sean Murphy. It was a wonderful book. I enjoyed every damn issue of it, and this was the book I didn't see coming that surprised the hell out of me, and I highly recommend. Love this book.
Awesome.
That was a good one. You guys did a review
And
on
that
that
was-
one as well.
We did it, and that was by Massive
Yes.
Studio, which is not one of the major players, but well done.
Gary, is that a Legion flight ring that you're wearing?
That's what I was about to say. Is it because Sunny's on?
Of course, it's a Legion flight ring. That's right. It's. I would wear my Teen Titans flight ring, but they didn't. Make it.
I'd read my Legion book, but I don't have it.
Yeah. We'll have to rectify that, Mike.
Right.
Rectify. Ooh,
All right.
painful.
Sal.
With the brown lantern.
all right.
Yeah.
Big surprise. I'm going to go with another comic-related surprise here. My biggest surprise of the year was Ultimate Spider-Man Volume 2, the most recent run that's happening right now. I don't know if it was because the Zeb Wells story was going so horrible that when this came out, I just loved it so much. So I like to have that one as my biggest surprise.
Nice.
Some people love the Zeb Wells one.
Mm.
There are some.
I don't think so.
I have one person who really liked it.
I
There's
actually
one person out there.
canceled Amazing Spider-Man because of this.
Mm.
Yeah. Well. Yeah.
Wow.
All
That'll
right.
do it.
You and Tim are copacetic.
Yeah.
Mike.
From the pool.
All right, my turn. So I think the biggest surprise is that there's no new Legion book. You know,
Yeah.
Oh, well done.
Agreed.
last year.
Agreed.
Well done. Well done.
But actually, I think my biggest surprise was that DC actually pulled off JLA versus Godzilla versus Kong.
Yeah.
That was just, I love a god, you know, who doesn't love kaijus and the JLA, and they actually pulled it off and it actually worked. So that was my big surprise for the year.
Nice.
All right.
Very cool.
Next up, we have Kevin.
Hey, I gotta go. I have a tie. I have a tie. The fact that Marvel brought back the Ultimate Universe, I never saw that coming. I thought that was a really cool and bold thing to do. And with that, the DC getting the clue as to how popular and cool that is, and diving into the Absolute Universe. Both of those, I think, were really, I couldn't pick one over the other. Both of those I thought were really cool directions to go for both companies.
Yeah.
Very good.
Both those, like you said, came out of nowhere.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, Sonny.
All right, for me, my biggest surprise of the year was X-Men 97. I was excited. I grew up huge on the show, but I did not expect to love it as much as I did. I mean, I was super into the X-Men 97. I know they did make a comic book leading into between the seasons, but you know, the show itself had me super excited every day when it was on. Wednesday at 3 a.m., I was watching it. So X-Men 97 was a huge surprise for me. I was super happy with it. So
And we did some reviews of that too.
Yes, there are reviews out for that too.
Yes, we did.
Oh yeah, and what they did with some of the characters in it, like
It made me rewatch the original X-Men series too.
yeah,
Stuff.
So good.
All right, Ryan.
All right, so my biggest surprise of the year, outside of the fact that I actually finally started reading current runs of comics, I'm a vintage collector and reader, but I finally, got into making a pull list, and I'm reading a bunch of books. So this was actually when the X-Men started the new From the Ashes era or storyline. I picked up and added a number of the titles, but I was kind of staying away from the individual like solo title books that they were coming out with, until I was talking with my fellow X-Men fans, Travis included, on the Council of X on my channel, and they were waxing poetic about this series.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
That's a good one.
And I'm 4 issues in, and I am surprised at how much I like it, and I'm really looking forward to continue reading it. I think it's now in like maybe probably my top 3 out of all the X-Men books that I'm reading now. Yeah, big shout out to this book, and that's my biggest surprise of the year.
Very good.
Awesome. Hey, I'm glad you finally got that pull list going too.
nice.
Yeah.
It's about time.
It is about time.
I would have been useless in 2023 for this show.
Most of us are useless as is.
Yes.
So I have to say that my biggest surprise this year was this book, and yeah, I'm gonna drop some technology on y'all.
Oh.
Doom.
Yeah.
I tell you right now, this book right here, this one, this way. This book. Well, it doesn't matter. Anyway, this book right here was biggest surprise for me. I love the fact that Jonathan Hickman came back, wrote a story related to his whole Secret Wars and Fantastic Four storyline, and they published it. And I thought it was fantastic. It kind of blew me away. It came out of nowhere for me too. I was shocked when it came out, and I'm like, people are talking about it. I'm like, Doom? Why would anybody care? I mean, he's not really been anything big. But you know, one of my other things we're going to talk about later on has a lot to do with Doom. So I'm excited with what they're doing, what he's doing at Marvel. I am excited about what Marvel's doing with their characters. Everything so far I've read that he's done has been fantastic, and this book was the biggest surprise for me.
Yeah, I bought many covers.
Yeah.
Is that the one shot? Is that the one shot, Travis?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a one shot. Yeah,
I read the one shot.
It was fantastic.
It looked really good.
Thor.
All right, so that wraps up.
Jamie, I got one more surprise I want to talk about. If I can.
Oh, there you go.
This is a bonus one. Sorry. When I in retrospect, I'm thinking, well, what was my biggest surprise? There is actually a book I received that was my biggest surprise. I'm training pot shots with my brother over there that I love very much, but he actually had the biggest comic surprise this year. We'd already given our Christmas gifts, all that had been done, and then he rolls up and he gives me this. This is the book I have coveted, All American Comics.
That's amazing.
Number 11 from 1940. This is my tied for my second oldest book now. And on the Gerber scale, this is an 8 in rarity out of 10. This is the rarest book I own. I won it because it was featured Gary Concord, the Ultraman. There are no heroes named Gary, and this one died out soon. But this is a great sci-fi cover. This book is super, super rare. And that sucker there, Mike Harbor, I love you, brother. He gave me this book and about made me freaking speechless. So this, without a doubt, was my biggest comic surprise of the year. And this book goes in the casket with me. I love this book. Love you, Mike Harbor. You know,
Me too, man.
maybe you go in the casket with me too, sweetheart.
I might have to.
brought
That is so cool.
a little bit of tear in my eye.
I feel you and I become really good friends lately.
If you're going in the casket with him, just make sure that you go before him. Otherwise, that's going to be real awkward for you.
We're both going to have to be cremated.
Definitely.
No, it is a gorgeous book, and Mike Harbor, my brother, that was my biggest surprise of the year. I will cherish this book forever. I love you, brother.
Like your brother to me too, man.
Yeah.
Like your brother to me too. I feel we've become really close lately.
Yeah, Sonny. Me and you.
Mike, he's just trolling for a gift. Don't buy it.
I'll do it.
We're joined by our love of the Legion.
Look, if you give him an action figure, you're an accessory.
We're matching today. See how much our brothers, me and Mike are matching.
Gonna find him a good one to get with.
All right, let's jump into our top artist pick. And Kevin, why don't you take the floor?
Hey, I am going to go with Dan Mora. He really impressed me with his Superman and Justice League Unlimited artwork this year, and I think the dude has a lot of potential for growth. All of his stuff has been very, I wouldn't say stylized, but he has a certain je ne sais quoi that I just find very, very endearing, and it really pulls you in. So Dan Mora from Superman specifically has been been a huge pull for me for that title. Not to mention the writing, but the art just brings it home.
All right, great.
Yeah, I agree.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely.
There are two superheroes named Gary, so you gotta let us know who they are. And you know what, Gary? When I get my
She
superhero
means me.
universe
She
going,
means me.
when I get my super universe going, I'll make sure to name one of them Gary.
Well, thank you. It don't make it. Well, I don't know. Dan's gonna make him terrible.
It's
He's
you
gonna
and
make him an
SpongeBob.
automatic F lister, and Sonny's gonna put him on the F list immediately.
It's
Well,
you
Ron
and
Land's real
SpongeBob's
name,
pet.
I will make him a badass Grimjack type character.
Okay,
He
there
won't
we
have
go.
a code name. When everyone goes after he like shows up and kicks someone's ass, like, "What's your name?" He'll just look at him and go, "Gary."
The name
All right,
is-
Mike, you're up.
Uncle Gary.
Uncle
All
Gary.
right. So, best artist. I'm a huge fan of this guy, Werther Deladour. I am sure I'm mispronouncing that name from Something's Killing the Children. Just
Oh,
absolutely love his artwork. I mean,
Isn't he working on Green Lantern Dark as
Yes,
well?
yes, he is.
Yes, I think
Yeah,
so.
so that's been really good as well. So just a huge fan. I'm sure, like I said, I'm butchering his name.
It's okay. Most people do. All right, we're gonna go with Sal.
Hey there. So big surprise. This is a artist on the current Venom run. His name is Brian Hitch, and what he's done recently, or what he's done with Venom in this latest run, is just amazing artwork to me. I think he draws Venom perfectly, and with the tendrils, with everything, the tongue, whatever have you may, he does it right, and it just fits for me.
Well, mention his red coat too, if you're going to throw him out there.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I can do that too.
And I don't know if y'all have read the latest Red Coat issue. That may be the most violent comic I've read this year.
Yeah, it was really good.
It was violent as hell, and I had to read it twice.
I just got it today. All right, Sonny.
All right. For me, I went with something a little bit different this time. Last year I went with Alex Ross. This year I'm picking Sean Phillips. Usually that style wasn't for me, but eventually it's grown on me over the years, and I've really been checking out a lot of his stuff lately. The team of Sean Phillips and Ed Brubaker, and it's really come to his style has got me to like a different kind of art for comic books. So I'm like, you know what? That's what I'm gonna go with, Sean Phillips.
Sonny, it's very moody. It's very moody. I love that. Great show.
Yeah.
He's good for noir stuff.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, my favorite Sean. He did some Wildcats Volume 3 stuff too a few years back. But I mean, that's where I first experienced him. I really liked it. I like his style. I like his I like how he plays with line work, and I think that's really cool.
Yeah.
All right, Dan.
Yeah, Kevin stole my thunder. I'm going with Dan Mora. He seems like he is DC's go-to guy now. He started off the year doing the Superman and Batman's World's Finest, which he's been doing since launch. He did, he's doing Superman now. He's also doing Justice League Unlimited now. He did the Absolute Power miniseries. I don't know I guess he just doesn't sleep. I guess he just drinks a lot of Red Bull and to his drawing board, because it seems like he's going to be the new go-to guy for DC Comics, and I love his art. I love that it's modern, but for me, it does have a very classic feel to it as well. And there's a lot of energy that's with his action and his panels. There's a lot of energy there. And if you look at it too, he's not just penciling; he's penciling and inking it, and doing 2 books a month. It's. I don't know how long he'll be able to keep it up, but
and there's a lot of fun. There's a lot of sense of fun to his stuff too.
Yeah. Yes.
It's great.
Yeah, Dan Mora has just been, like you said, he either doesn't sleep or he just drinks a lot of coffee at this point. Like, there's no way you're going to be balancing all that out.
And he relaunched the Shazam book too, and was doing that. So, like I said, it's clear to me that he's going to be DC's new go-to artist whenever they have a big thing that they need done. He's the one that's going to be involved with it.
Well, and he loves what he's doing because he's able to put out so much work so fast and so good. I mean, it's consistent and it's beautiful and it's awesome. And that's the tale of a really good artist, someone that they want to have doing in their bullpen, doing that kind of work. I mean,
imagine if he took his time.
All these books I mentioned too, all these books he worked on is with Mark Waid. So clearly they have a very good writer-artist relationship. So, Waid might just give him the freedom to be like, just, do it, and I'll, script, whatever it is they're doing there, he can pump out a lot of really good quality work. And I got to imagine Justice League Unlimited has got to be a super fun book. Like, looking at it from an artist perspective, because you're able to draw everyone. Like, if you're just a writer and be like, hey, you know what? In next issue, I want to draw the Creeper teaming up with Booster Gold and Zatanna, or okay, cool, let's do that.
Yeah. And each character that he does draw is distinct, as opposed to it's just variations on the theme of like the main style that he does. Each character is actually like different from one another, which I think is wonderful.
Okay. Well, Ryan.
Oh yeah,
You're up, bud.
Artist is always a tough one. Could have gone maybe with Greg Capullo on Wolverine Revenge, but I went with Jason Marquez on Uncanny
Nice.
X-Men. I'm really just enjoying the artwork in this book.
Oh yeah.
And that's just he's just kind of got a more realistic style that I'm liking more so than some of the other X books that I'm reading. So that's definitely my best artist of the year. David Marquez.
I'm enjoying that too.
Yeah, Marquez is fantastic. I love it. He did the White Widow series too, and that was pretty brilliant there too. That's where I first saw his art and really enjoyed it. So
I'm enjoying his covers too,
Yes,
pretty solid covers as well.
That Nightcrawler one's really good.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Unk.
All right. You know, I wonder in the future if we want to cut this category in half and make it interior artist and a cover artist category, because
it's in the books.
I really struggled with this, because if I had gone the interior route, Mora would have been up there, Ivan Reyes would have been up there, but I ended up going with the guy that's predominantly cover artist, and that's because those covers are so freaking amazing. Lee Bermejo.
Yes.
Nice.
Just
That's an amazing cover.
What a great take on the creepy clown cover, where it's kids are creepy and the clown's screwed.
Yeah.
So just what he's done with Epitaphs from the Abyss.
Yeah.
These covers. My God, this was almost my cover of the year. I mean, that is just.
That is great. Wow.
That is just.
I love those books. They're amazing.
Awesome.
And the Superman covers he's done, Batman.
Right, absolutely. Lee Bermejo, and then there's this little cover that maybe you'll be seeing later. So, but Lee Bermejo, just because I hate to pick a cover artist, but damn, those covers are awesome. So he also finally is that Black Label. I mean, it's not a Black Label book, but it's a Black Label sized book. That tabloid. Was it 12? What's that the name? I can't remember the name, but it finally came out too, and that was gorgeous. So,
well, he doesn't.
I didn't even add cover artists to my thought process, just because there's best cover coming up, and I felt like I gotta give some love to the interior guys.
Well,
right?
and that's where I struggle with that too, Ryan, because the interior artists are the one doing the grit, going the down and dirty grit.
Storytelling too, right?
Yeah, the storytelling, absolutely, and the cover artist is the glamour stuff.
Yeah,
but
exactly, Richard.
Cover
is what gets you to pick the book up
on the end of the hook, man.
Right. No, absolutely. So that's why maybe next year we'll, Jamie will maybe we'll,
that one's going to be in for next year.
Because next year. But I'm like you, Ryan. I like to give a lot of credit to the interior guys who make it, who tell the story throughout the interior, but damn, sometimes these covers are just so good.
The cover gets you to pick up the book, but the interior art gets you to buy it.
Right.
Yeah.
Or keep reading it.
Because
if the cover's terrible, you might just not even pick it up. But if the cover's great and you pick it up and you flip it open, I've had that happen before and looked inside and I'm like, oh, this is terrible. I put it back on.
Yep.
Travis.
All right. Hey, is it okay that I join the Legion?
Please.
There you go.
Absolutely. Long live the Legion, baby.
I guess they're all F-listers if you talk
as long as you're not Matter Eater Lad.
Nice. Save the universe, Sonny.
Save the damn universe.
All right. So my not cover artist, my artist, writer, cover artist, interior artist, guy who I absolutely adore, and have had great conversations with on Instagram, is Carrie Andrews.
Very nice.
I went with his. I got this signed cover by from a. I think they were actually at Terrificon when I ordered this book. from them. But I got this anyway. Kerry Andrews, love this guy, love his art. He has this it goes back to the 90s feel, but then is able to modernize it and he's consistent. And I mean, you know, you got Spider-Man Reign and then Spider-Man Reign 2 right now that he's writing and putting out and doing everything in. And then there's and then of course he did one of the Edge of Spider-Verse storylines, Spooky, where he introduced Spooky Man, which is the Spider-Man of that issue. So I went back. I've been slowly but surely picking up a lot of his stuff. He did some beautiful painted covers for different parts of DC. He's done some beautiful painted covers for Star Wars. And just it's a totally different style. You're looking at it and you're like, is this the same guy? And it's like he's got these 2 Darth Vader covers that are basically black and white with stormtroopers and all this stuff. And they are, you're just looking at them, just like, wow, the negative space that he used on this cover is fantastic.
I love negative space covers.
Yeah, the way he did it, and the way and you compare the two, and you can see that his comic book art and his finer art is totally different. And I love that he has that ability. Plus, he writes constantly, and he's doing interior art. So he's the triple threat of the comic book world right now. So. Well, him and someone else is going to be coming up later on in the story in my list.
All
Sweet.
right.
We're Legion. That's right, Chris.
So for mine, I'm gonna sound like a broken record right now, but I'm gonna go with Dan Mora as well for this guy not stopping for a second. It seems like I don't know how you put out that much work and have that much talent and still have a life in between, or if he doesn't, I don't know. But he personifies a superhero character so well, just the anatomy and do every single one. Like Unlimited is, to me, is probably the finest superhero artwork I've seen, because there's attention to detail in every single character. It's not like one is just missed. All of them have their own unique
Yes.
So, and be able to do that on top of doing multiple books a month is just insane.
Yeah.
And like Kevin said, each character looks distinct. It doesn't look like the same person, just in a different costume. The backgrounds are good too. It's not just like Rob Liefeld.
And there's a height difference too.
Yeah. I'm glad that you all finally agree with me. It's about freaking time.
It only took a couple years, Kevin.
And for me, the thing that really put it over the top is he pencils and inks it.
Yeah.
While doing 2 books a month, like he's doing double work on top of double work.
Back in the day, when he was doing Brave and the Bold, Jim Aparo would pencil it, ink it, and letter it, which was a big deal. That he would do all 3 things on that book.
Wow.
All right, we're gonna move into top writer, and I'm Gary.
All right, my top writer of the year is Jeff Johns, Hyde Street, Redcoat.
Yep.
All the Rook, all the Ghost Machine tie-ins, and I'm not sure if we had an actual Junkyard Joe tie-in, but still, what he set up there with the Ghost Machine books, Jeff Johns is it for me. That everything that carries a Ghost Machine label is fantastic, and it's his direction. But the ones he's writing there, wow, he's knocked my socks off. Jeff Johns, not even close for me with anyone else with what he's done.
Well, that's a great pick. He was actually my number
Richard's
2.
trying to stir it up.
Zeb Wells. Somewhere Tim is feeling the
is turning red as a tomato.
Agreed.
All right, Sal.
All right, for best writer. So I had a couple of choices with this, but I'm gonna stick with my number 1 choice, and that is Jeremy Adams, who is doing the Green Lantern most current run right now. And he's writing Hal Jordan the way I want to read him. The past couple of volumes he's been okay, but right now this current volume he is being written exactly how I picture him, exactly how I want to hear him, exactly what I think he's going to do type situation. So he is just perfect for me.
I don't think he's been written that well since John.
Yeah, I agree
agree.
with that. I have to agree with that.
Yeah.
And that guy also had a really good Flash run
Mm.
with Wally, right and Wally. He had a really good Flash.
The 1 Minute War.
Yeah. Oh.
So yeah, definitely a great choice, Kevin.
All right. So this guy, I voted for him last year. I'm going to say it again. Jed McKay can do no wrong in my book. The dude is writing Doctor Strange, the Avengers, and
X-Men.
Moon Knight.
X-Men.
Moon Knight. Like, oh, this dude, everything he writes, I am waiting with bated breath for the next issue to come out so I can continue the storyline. Jed McKay is probably my favorite writer out there today.
That's a good
Yeah,
choice.
he literally sparked like 4 offshoot Moon Knight books based on his alone. And I've never been able to think I could actually say we have 4 ongoing Moon Knight books.
Right.
I love what he's done to revitalize that character. It was a great character, and he's done it by like introducing, a new cast, bringing, older, characters that aren't being used back, and yeah, like you said, whoever thought as a Moon Knight fan you'd have like, 3-4 Moon Knight books come out in 1 month. You'd be like, if I could get one regular one, that would be great. And it's like, oh no, here's a bunch of them.
And like all the B tier characters are like, I love all these characters that up until McKay got a hold of them, nobody gave a shit about. So awesome.
Yeah. I think I said it last year. He made me care about 8-Ball.
Yes.
Who could ever do that? Just you talk about F list, like nothing further of a character. And now I'm reading and I'm like, oh man, I hope nothing happens to 8-Ball. Like,
exactly.
That's exactly what I used to say when Gail Simone was writing Secret Six about Catman. Who cares about Catman?
Yeah,
Gail Simone,
yes.
Yep.
Ryan, let's hear yours, bud.
My favorite writer of the year was easy, actually. It was Jason Aaron on Namor. I absolutely love this run so far. 5 issues in, and it's the favorite thing I'm reading of current books, and it's great. I just love it. I think he's doing an awesome job, and the art's awesome. And yeah, but Jason Aaron is killing it on that book.
Sweet.
Yes.
Very cool.
I am gonna go next because of the fact, if I can, it's always blocking. I can't get to it. I'm just gonna say it while I try this. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Jason Aaron's as well. Surprise, surprise. Only because of the fact that the guy was on a legacy character for like, 13 years he was writing
Thor?
Yeah. Something like that, but being on there and then going to the Avengers, but then after the Avengers, now this guy is having fun for it seems like the first time in his career, really, like branching off, doing Namor, doing TMNT, jumping on to, what was it, Action Comics for an arc. Now he's writing Absolute Superman.
Yeah.
He's everywhere now. Yeah, he did a one-shot for Berserker, and I loved every minute of it. It made me more of a fan of his now, seeing that he's having fun, and even listen to him talk in interviews and stuff like that. You can tell just by the way he presents himself. He's like, I'm loving every minute.
Awesome.
Very cool.
So cool.
So, yeah, I'm right with you, Ryan.
Yeah, I love Jason Aaron too. He's pretty.
I have to pick up his other stuff. Then I'm only on the.
The Absolute Superman is fantastic. I love it.
So next up, we got Dan.
I'm gonna echo what Gary said and go with Jeff Johns. Just the like you said, the Ghost Machine stuff. Everything he puts out is good, but it's also the wide variety of it. He was doing superheroes with DC with the Justice Society book, and then all the creator-owned stuff. You've got horror, you've got sci-fi, you've got futuristic stuff, post-apocalyptic stuff. Geiger has been excellent, and the way that he's Red Coat,
even with the artist change with Geiger, it's been
and Paul Pelleter is another artist that I love too. So I don't mind that him and Frank are doing it, but and the way he's taking all these characters that you think are from different time periods and different genres, like Junkyard Joe and Geiger and Red Coat, with like historical fiction stuff, and he's weaving them all together into this one coherent world, is pretty cool too. Because it's one thing to be like, oh, I'm going to write 4 superhero books and then I'm going to connect them all, but like all these books are their own standalone thing that don't really fit the same genre as the other, and he's finding a way to tie it all together. And every week when one of those books comes out, that's one of the ones I'm most anxious to read.
Agreed.
Like I said, Johns was right there with all the Ghost Machine work, but like I said, for me, it's seeing how much fun this guy's having. But Johns is definitely still top of his game.
I agree.
So let's hear from Mike.
All right. Well, I'm going to switch you guys in a totally different direction. This man has been the king of the I guess what you would call the creative I don't know what the hell to call it anymore. But Jeff Lemire, Fish Flies, Bone Orchard Mythos.
Minor Arcana.
Yeah, Minor Arcana.
He's doing the new JSA book,
and now he's doing the JSA. I mean, this man.
Fish Flies has been amazing.
Yeah, Fish Flies was amazing. Tenement. I mean, if you look back at this guy's career, he's just done some amazing stuff. But the fact that he's done all this independent work and now is switched over to the JSA, and something that I'm sorry, but Johns, he messed up the last time he was doing it.
Well, that's because he was doing too many other things.
Exactly.
And that's why. And a couple years ago, Lemire did Green Hell, which is one of the greatest.
I love that. I love that.
Lemire
that was a great series.
Lemire is a great choice. Great choice.
Yeah, and Chris agrees. I do have to agree with that. I did enjoy the last Justice Society book that Johns did, but those last couple issues, like especially the last one, did fall kind of short, where it looked like, all right, this book's been really good up to this point, and then that last issue was just kind of like, what?
I
don't know if it was because the shipping schedule was behind, or what happened with it. But
he was phoning in. That point. He was phoning in the last few issues because the first arc on his JSA was pretty good.
Yeah,
but he was phoning it in. He had all those other things he was doing, and it did show.
Yeah.
Sonny, who you got?
For my writer of the year, I am going with Ed Brubaker. A lot of his work. Recently, Uncle Gary had me read Pulp. I know it's a few years old, but I loved it. And this year, he's also, before, years ago, he was writing X-Men, so he knows how to take on the superheroes. And he said a few years ago was Pulp, and then now he was doing Houses of the Unholy. He was even the writer of the Caped Crusader show. So Ed Brubaker has really won me over this year. I should say in 2024. So my writer of the year was Ed Brubaker.
Nice.
Very
good
good.
choice.
Very good choice. Travis.
Well, so I couldn't make up my mind. I had 2 writers this year that were actually, honestly, I had 5 writers and I narrowed it down to 2, right? So my top 2, because I can't not. I'm sorry. It's just going to have to be 2. Daniel Warren Johnson. He is.
Very good.
Man, I don't even. There's not there is not a day. If I know Transformers is coming out, I am buying it that day, no matter what. I go to the shop. I'm picking that book up, even if I can't pick anything else up. I'm picking up Transformers, and my daughter's reading it too. So that makes it really intense. Plus his art. I mean, the moon is following us. Is fantastic story. I mean, it's really incredible story that you just there. I had no idea, and I'm sure that now that I've started to dig into this other canon of stuff, I mean, I'm sure Powerbomb is a freaking awesome book, and I'm probably gonna have to pick that up too now. And then
he did Murder Falcon too, didn't he?
I think so. Yeah, I mean, and he's got a new one coming out that's called Space something or other. It's a sci-fi thriller, a sci-fi hero book, and I'm looking forward to that one too. Looks like space truckers of some sort, but you know the way he draws and the way he writes, it's just like I'm sure it's going to be freaking incredible. My other top writer that I can't stay away from, we've already talked about him once, is Jonathan Hickman. I mean, this year, his Ultimate Universe, bringing Ultimates back. Like,
yes.
I loved what he was doing with X-Men, but I'll tell you, when he wrote Ultimate Universe 4-issue miniseries, and then the Ultimate in between issue, and then Ultimate Spider-Man, I was hooked. I was sucked in, and I could not stop reading it. I mean, I missed the first issue, and so someone was like, "Oh, you got to check this out." So I went and found the first issue. And then I bought all the rest as they came out, and then I just could not stop. It was so good. And then anytime I could see this variant cover for this, and I would grab this. There was this amazing Thor variant cover that I picked up that it was good. And then his Ultimate Spider-Man right now is just amazing. I cannot believe that I'm reading a comic book where half the time there's not superheroes activity going on, and I'm super intrigued. I mean, the first issue you don't even see Spider-Man. And it was so amazing. You're just like, I cannot believe it.
And everyone's like, that's how you write Spider-Man. How do you read?
And it's like, I'm reading Ultimate Spider-Man, and all it's about is everything leading up to the point. And I was so flabbergasted. It was so amazing that my daughter heard me raving about it. She read it, started reading it too. So she's been reading Ultimate Spider-Man as well. So
awesome. So,
I mean, my best mentions would be things like Tom King this year as well, and I just had him in my brain. Mark Waid's stuff has been really amazing. These are other, and everybody who's mentioned someone, I would say Jeff Johns. I mean, I was excited about everything that I've been reading. So, and all those writers are fantastic. So.
Yeah, great picks. And I think Daniel Warren Johnson's only on Transformers till issue 24.
One side note on Hickman. I just read this, and this wasn't written by Hickman, but obviously he's the architect of the Ultimate Universe. And this one book got me thinking I got to read almost all of the Ultimate Universe at this point.
Yes.
So
yeah, absolutely.
X-Men, because I don't like Peach Momoko. But we don't have to get into that. But I will say, Hickman, just even after reading this, was like, I should maybe make him the best writer of the year. But he's managed to make Colossus a bad guy in not one, but two universes this year. So he's ex-nayed because of that. From best.
Hold the grudge.
Okay. That is... That's too good. So we're gonna go into best current series. Now this is the current series that was going through 2024. Even if it was going into the past week or two or week of 2025, we're gonna start off with Ryan.
Well, I kind of spilled the beans on the writer. Namor is my favorite current series.
Is that a mini series or is that
this is ongoing? At least as far as I know, it's ongoing. And Namor is traveling the sea, trying to recruit leaders of different groups and nations within the sea to unite against an incoming threat from the surface world, and he's finding out that these kings are actually vying for the ultimate crown of the sea, and there's actually a civil war brewing underwater, and he just can't get these kings to come together and unite for the betterment of the underwater world. And anyways, great series. As I said earlier, Jason Aaron's killing it.
Awesome.
Yeah, can't agree more. All right, let's go to Kevin.
All right. I admit I have a tie for mine again.
All these.
I know. I can't pick. Okay. I'll say one, my main one, and then I'll give an honorable mention. Ice Cream Man, I'm such a huge fan of that entire series. Every issue is just like perfect horror that is contained in and of itself with an overarching theme as to Ricardus, the storyteller of the individual issues, and it's phenomenal. Every issue is just great. And the honorable mention, or the tie, whichever you'll let me get away with, is the new run of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles has been the best series of said mutants that I've ever read of the old Eastman characters and run. It's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is currently great. I highly recommend it.
Yeah, you had to thank Jason Aaron's for that one.
Do you have any of the 70 variants per issue of TMNT?
Yeah.
Would that be variant insanity, Sonny?
Love for Namor too.
Right.
All right, Sal. Give us a
All
try,
right,
brother.
for best current series, I went with Green Arrow, Volume 7. What's going on right now? Joshua Williams, Uncle Gary, thank you, because you're the one that turned me on to this book. I was never a Green Arrow fan to begin with until you told me to pick up this book and start reading it, and I've been hooked ever since.
Good book.
Very good book. And it's good to see that they can make Oliver just a
Yes.
Yep.
And he is.
Like, just
He's
be
an
like,
ass.
Yeah.
I love it.
oh, he is. He's like, screw my family. I'm gonna do what I need to do, and then I'll just, ask for forgiveness later.
Love it.
So, Uncle.
All right. Well, the book I'm going to pick.
I feel
Let
like
me
I know
tell you
what
what
it
it
is.
is.
all know what it is.
There's a street just right around the
Yep.
corner.
Yeah.
Both
Yep.
familiar and unknown. A street branching off every small town square and cutting through every big city avenue. It is a place where the wicked and cruel are drawn to the crossroads of morality and madness, with the inevitable destination of not merely death, but something far worse. This is a street of men and monsters. It's a place we call Hyde Street, you god darn people. Hyde Street, baby. This, without a doubt, is my favorite book of the year. Slam dunk. It's only 2 issues in with a adjacent book, Devour. This is Jeff Johns' homage to what is my favorite show of all time, The Twilight Zone. And he has acknowledged that. He owns that. He lives that. And this book is so damn good. The art on it is amazing. And
Ivan Reyes is
this little dick right here, Pranky the Cub Scout, he is the biggest asshole in comics this year, and I love him. He is a stone cold dick, and he is amazing. But this book, oh my! I mean, I'm telling you, Mr. X-Ray is pretty cool.
Yep.
But if anyone out there is not reading this book, oh my God, please pick this book up. I can't tell you how much I love Hyde Street. And I know Dan had told me, he goes, well, it's only got 2 issues. I said, I don't care. I'm in.
It blew you away, and that's all that matters.
It blew me away from the introduction. When I read the introduction, I got wood. I'm telling you, man. Wow. This book had me. And Devour, the adjacent book, Devour, it's just a one shot. This is unsettling as hell. So I'm telling you, if you have not read Hyde Street, please pick it up or pick it up when the trade comes out. I am personally responsible for selling out the entire first run of this at Comic Logic. we had our free comic, or we had our lot con, and we had like 7 or 8 copies on the shelf. That book was gone, including the 1 in 25 cover on the wall that somebody had to pick up because of this. So, Hyde Street, baby.
I'm changing my surprise of the year to Uncle Gary saying I got bored reading Hyde Street.
I would say if you like Ice Cream Man, you'll like Hyde Street. If you like Hyde Street, you'll like Ice Cream Man.
Yeah, and I've gotten quite a bit. Yeah, Dan, what were you gonna say, brother?
I was gonna say I was standing there when you sold one of the copies because you looked. It was to a woman, and you looked at me. You're like, you're like, right? I was like, it's really good. You'll enjoy it.
Yeah, she went and bought the 1 in 25 cover too. That was Jamie.
Oh, nice. Oh, so she got 2 copies.
She got 2 copies. Yeah.
Nice.
So great book. Love it. I'm glad you're reading it, Kevin.
Yep.
Chad?
All right. Hey, it's my turn. So, so my favorite series of this year, I don't think it's going to be any surprise when I show it, is Transformers. I am absolutely in love with the Energon universe. I'm all in. I'm getting everything Energon universe right now. So this though is the series that it blew me away. I love every aspect of it. I don't know if you guys have watched Delta Tryon or any of his videos on YouTube, but man, he's talking about Transformers in a way that I have never heard anybody talk about Transformers. The way the story is, and this is not a tame story that is like the kids' cartoon. This is a story about death, suffering, pain, anguish, loss, grief. You have to deal with all the pain, all these things within the storyline, but it's so good, and the bad guys are so evil. Like Starscream is evil, and I love that he's evil the way he's supposed to be. I love this cover. This is the 1 in 25 from the very first issue from last year, and I love this cover because here it is, Prime just kicking Starscream's butt right there on that, right? So, so it's been an amazing run so far. And if he's leaving at issue 24, that's fine and everything. And I can't wait to see who they pick to come into it, because every other book that they've got out there, Joshua Williams, that was another person. Joshua Williams, he's another amazing writer. He's doing. He's doing G.I. Joe. He did 2 of the miniseries. He did Duke and Cobra Commander. And the stories that they're putting out are fantastic. And this one is by far my favorite. Second would be Void Rivals, but this is definitely my favorite.
You could tell the way he's writing Transformers that it's a fan writing a love letter to the series that he was as a kid, that he's writing it the way when you have your action figures, maybe with Sunny,
not Sunny
in it, but he's writing it like where you have the figures and you're making your own story. That's what he's doing. Like some of the cool stuff, Optimus Prime with Megatron's arm. The first or second issue when I had the big awesome action page, and it just said, the song, and every Transformers fan instantly heard it in their head, and they knew what it was. Like, him putting that on there tells you, what a fan of the franchise he is.
Well, and what's really interesting about this whole thing is that it inspired my daughter to want to make YouTube videos. So we're working, and Colossus has helped out too. So, but we're working on a series of shorts that are going to come out in the next, hopefully in the next couple of weeks here, where she's going to. She did one about 6-8 months ago where she took over my channel as Starscream, taking over the channel. I voiced Starscream for her, and I voiced myself, of course. But she's got a whole idea. She's written a script. She's got all these shorts that she's got planning. We got about a week's worth, and it's going to be called Decepticon Week on Comics Limited.
Awesome.
All right, Sonny, buddy.
Well,
Let's do this.
I'm going with X-Men. This year, 2024, my team, the X-Men, they took over again, except before X-Men 97. But, with From the Ashes, there's been so many X-Men series out. Uncanny X-Men, Exceptional X-Men. There's been Phoenix, there's been Storm. There's so many. X-Men has taken over. My pick for the current series is X-Men.
Nice.
Very good.
Nice.
Short and sweet.
Awesome.
Love it. Mighty Mike.
All right, I am going with this little book here, which you can't see.
Oh, yeah.
Something
Fading in and out.
People that
We know
can't.
what it is.
Fading in and
Something
out.
killing the children.
Something's Killing the Children. Probably the best book out there.
Mm-hmm.
24. Absolutely love it.
It is great. Oh, absolutely.
Every time that book comes out, that's one on the top. Like every single time.
Yeah.
Dan.
Yeah, I had 4 on my list.
Jesus, there can't be a
No,
fourth time.
I was oscillating between which one I was going to pick. Transformers and Something is Killing the Children were both ones that were on there. But ultimately, the one I picked, and I'll mention the second one at the end if no one picks it. The one I ended up picking was Ultimate Spider-Man. I grew up a huge Spider-Man fan. I read Web, Spectacular, the self-titled one, Amazing, Spider-Man Unlimited. I read all the books, and then they did One More Day, and I stopped. I was like, I felt Marvel just betrayed the character, and it was all because Joe Quesada didn't like character growth. I stopped reading it, and they put out Ultimate Spider-Man, and I love it. And this is the Spider-Man that me and I will feel safe to speak for most other Spider-Man fans. This is the Spider-Man that we have wanted for the past 20 years. It's Peter. It's MJ together. Oh, he's got kids. He's a father. It's him not being just a complete, absolute loser that nothing goes right for. He's, not everything goes right, but, he's still, he's still funny when he's Spider-Man. It's great. I don't like Jonathan Hickman. I did not like his Avengers run. I didn't like his X-Men run. I love what he's doing on this. The artwork by Marco. Yeah, I knew I was gonna mispronounce the name. The artwork by him on it. I loved him on Daredevil. He's fantastic on this. Every month I look forward to it, and so that's the one I'm gonna go with. They're finally giving me the Spider-Man I've been waiting for 20 years.
Yep. Nice.
An excellent pick. I've been loving it as well.
It's interesting. I was I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
We were when it comes to Amazing Spider-Man, and you're mentioning Brand New Day and Quesada. Quesada got a divorce that year.
Yeah, he didn't believe in love.
And then Zeb Wells. Guess what happened to Zeb Wells last year?
Yeah,
Heidi Gardner said
Zeb Wells
goodbye.
got divorced too. So if you're wondering what happens to Amazing Spider-Man, is they always put writers on who get divorced. Now Dan Slott was trying to bring them back together. I mean, we saw it in his Renew Your Vows storyline, then Renew Your Vows storyline that came afterwards, which was really popular. But then they kept throwing on artists who were not popular and they destroyed the series. And
Misery loves company.
Yeah, so I mean, it's interesting that you mentioned that, and it's exactly. It was funny. I was talking to my I Like Comics friend, Chris, who owns the shop, and he's like, "Yeah, you knew that Zeb Wells got divorced this year." I was like,
"Yeah, he was
I got to give Zeb Wells some credit, only because he did help write Deadpool over.
Yeah, but he was the one who had the idea to break up Deadpool and Vanessa.
Well, Garrison Kane is gonna have to.
Why do you hate love?
Exactly. Like he's like, I'm alone and bitter, so every hero has to be alone and bitter. Yeah, he was married to the woman from SNL. I can't remember her name.
Heidi Gardner.
Yeah.
I'm gonna predict right here and now. Spider-Man 1000, Peter and Mary Jane back together.
If you know what, if that happens, I'll buy it. I'll put Amazing Spider-Man back on my poll, because even Dan Slott, when fans talking about Ultimate Spider-Man online, this is the Spider-Man we want. He's even started gaslighting him and saying, "No, it's not. The sales prove otherwise." And you know, and he's, you know, now in the camp of keep them apart.
You know, for years when you wanted to see Peter and Mary Jane together, you know where you had to look? You had to look in the daily newspaper for the Stanley Alex Savick strip. And I used to get some comfort out of looking at that and seeing at least Peter and Mary Jane together in a relationship.
Yep. Well, I love the old comic strips.
Yep.
All right, so I'm gonna give mine, and I'm just gonna be honest, it's part of the whole Ghost Machine. I'm going with Rook Exodus.
Good book.
This book has been astounding. The art in it too by Jason Fabok has just every page. It's been a killer. And it's sad that this book is the only one out of that whole line that's getting a break. Like, did anyone else see that too? Oh, Rook will be back in, you know, X amount of months. Why? Like the book is literally you're people controlling animals to basically harvest, kill, and manipulate others. It's just all war, all gore, and there's nobody's being left out. So that is definitely my best current.
Nice.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
And like,
all right,
Johns has got these great artists, and he's getting the best work of their careers out of them too.
Yeah.
Oh, he's pushing every one of them to the limit.
Awesome.
So we're gonna move on to the next category, which is best thing read. Now this can be from any year. It just had to have been read this past year by us. So I will have Mike actually kick this one off.
All right. I wish I actually had the book with me here, but actually I'm going to go with, it's new, but it's some of the best stuff out there, and it's really 3 different books. The Absolute series by DC, The Absolute, Wonder Woman, and Superman. Great take, a great new take on the big 3, kind of like where Marvel did with the Ultimate Universe on their side. But it's some of the best stuff I've read. So I'm
I like it.
Yeah.
Awesome. Travis.
Okay. Well, this should be no surprise. So this book that I'm about ready to show you guys, and once I get back there, this one is my favorite series, and I was just talking it up. Ultimate Spider-Man. Of course, then I choose the Ultimate Spider-Man Carrie Andrews variant cover just because, well, it's Carrie Andrews. But man, I'll tell you, I like this issue. I cannot tell you how amazing this story is without just saying how amazing the first issue was. You read the issue and you cannot believe you're not reading a superhero. You're reading a superhero book that has no superheroes in it, and you're like, what's going on? You know, and it leads you down there, and then all the different storyline arcs that are going on. You know, Uncle Ben still being alive. You have him and J. Jonah Jameson starting their own newspaper together. You have all these different things going on, and then Gwen is alive and she's married to Harry. That's really what was really interesting, and I thought, wow, this is they really built a universe within just the Spider-Man storyline that really feels like the characters you love, that you want to see different stories with, have come back and they're doing something special with them. And I really enjoy this series. I can't get enough of it. It comes out, I buy it, I read it. I mean, it's literally the book on my list of stuff that I read immediately as soon as I get it. That, Conan, and Transformers. So
good choice.
Cool.
Yeah, a lot of love in the chat for Rook as well.
Indeed.
Yeah, they'll collect it. Rook is very, very well worth waiting for.
Oh,
yes, it definitely is. I'm really hating our screen right now because I'm trying to put me up and it doesn't want to let me do it. He just wants to grab my screen and move me. There we go. So mine, I'm gonna go with, because there's only 2 issues of it out right now. And Gary's probably getting a little bit more excited as I say that, but it's not what he thinks. Actually, it's Power Rangers Prime. It's, to me, is the equivalent of everything they're doing with DC and Marvel, with the Ultimate Universe, with the Absolute Universe. They rechanged the universe, bringing in a new look for Rita Repulsa, bringing in new Rangers and a whole new system. And the Rangers are actually shunned on for being Rangers. Like, they're not the heroes that the whole society wants. They're the ones they want to get rid of. So for my actual best read for this past year, something I read was Power Rangers Prime.
Very good.
Man, baby, you got everyone agreeing with you about Rook.
Yep, Rook.
Oh, yeah.
Great book.
Yeah.
Cool.
And it's literally an entire world to explore.
Yeah, and there's so much more to do, but that's why I'm so upset that it's one book that's getting a break. So, Ryan.
So I'm cheating on this one. I have two. First one is
I'll let it slide.
Colossus Bloodline.
Nice.
A little mini series that basically explains that Rasputin name is actually because he's a descendant of Grigory Rasputin, the infamous Russian mystic. And that he actually has a history with Nathaniel Essex. Mr. Sinister was entwined with Grigory Rasputin, and now has come generations later trying to kill off the Rasputin descendants to bring him back to life. So very good story. And
his arm looks huge in there.
The story in that series is excellent.
X-Men Omnibus Volume 2. In particular, the Muir Island saga with the Shadow King. Excellent story. Shadow King's
Gotta
awesome.
agree with that.
And,
Yeah.
You get X Factor in there, and you get all the X-Men. It's a great story, and Professor X is back. Great story.
And you said that story was excellent.
He did. I heard it.
He said excellent. Yes.
It was excellent.
Most excellent.
Yeah, I remember reading it when it came out.
Yeah.
Great story.
All right. With this category, I decided not to go with it. I wanted to use something that told a complete story, so I can say, it was that I got to read a complete story, and that's Batman First Night. I love this book. This book was beautiful. Dan Jurgens wrote it. Mike Perkins did the art. And if you're not familiar with any of Mike Perkins' art, maybe that'll help you a little bit. So this is Batman from 1939 when he first debuted. Again, Mike Perkins, no frickin' slouch. Look at that. Just beautiful. So you get 1930s Gotham, with the uniforms of the police and the vehicles, and this is the Batman costume like it was, complete with the purple gloves. This book was really good. And it was published in the black label format in the larger sized, soft covers in 3 issues. But then, I bought all 3 of those. And then, of course, because I'm going to buy the hardcover.
That's a great looking trade. I actually have that in my reading list. It's in my magazine box right behind my head there.
There's the interior page. So it's a really good read. I think you'll love it if you love Batman, and you get it is Boosh. And I think Mike Mike loved this too.
It's a great book.
Yeah, we both love this. We both met. Yeah, it's right. That's right, Dan. We've talked this up on the After Dark show, and Mike and I met Perkins, and his stuff is amazing. A couple of years ago, he did a Lois Lane series that was a 12-issue mini that was amazing. Rucka wrote it, and he drew it. It was so good. Nobody was reading it, but damn, it was good. But this people have been reading.
Was that the same time that they had the Jimmy Olsen 12-issue?
Yeah.
Running?
Yes, it was.
With Matt Fraction?
Yes, it was. And it was done, it was done very well. It was a wonderful series. But that's my book. Yo, Chris, you got to read it, brother. You'll love it because it's, like I said, it's that 1939 version of Batman is fantastic.
Sonny brother, what you got for
All
me?
right, so like a few of you, I was reading some newer stuff, but I was reading some of the old stuff as usual. And for the first time, I finally went back and was reading Frank Miller's run on Daredevil.
Oh,
I was
great.
starting.
So good.
Yeah, started with
Oh.
issue 168 to 191. You know, classic. Obviously, the first appearance of Elektra. Obviously, her death, and so many great stories in there. Gang War in there. And you see Black Widow. Just some of the best Daredevil stories I've ever read. You know, some of my favorite Marvel stories. So I love it. I was going through it thinking 10 out of 10, 10 out of 10, 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10 for Frank Miller's run on Daredevil.
Yeah.
That's an excellent choice for that one.
That is an all-time top 10 of all-time comic books.
Yes. Yep.
How could you not pick Vegetable Lover as your favorite?
I did read it though, but they did not make. They did not beat Daredevil.
Dan, he did not read it. He looked at the pictures and was excited.
I read it word for word, every word for messed up word.
So messed up. Dan, just change the subject.
All right, the one that I read this year did come out a while ago. My wife actually got this omnibus for me for Christmas last year, so I read it this year.
I know.
And it was absolutely
Planetary.
Oh, nice stuff.
Yeah.
so good. You know, the writing. The writing is great. The way that it deconstructs not just superheroes but all these other different genres, and the take that it gives on classic characters like Superman, Fantastic Four, Constantine, all of these different characters, and the way it gives, like, you can't use those characters, so they use what are clear homages to them and pastiches of them and use them in here, and it's just brilliant. The artwork is absolutely gorgeous. Unfortunately, we lost him this year, which just blew my mind. But John Cassidy, I was going to take him to Baltimore to get him to sign. But his artwork in this is it's breathtaking. In the omnibus, it's got the entire series in it, all 27 issues. And it's got the 3 crossovers they did with Batman, with JLA, with Authority. I actually didn't really enjoy the crossover with Authority or with JLA that much. The one they did with Batman was really good. But if you like really well done, intelligent books, this is the one to read. And you know that it's good because it has the introduction to it written by Alan Moore, who just about how great it is. And for comic fans out there who know, Alan Moore hates everything. He doesn't like anything new. He hates everything new. Doesn't want to have anything to do with it. And he wrote the introduction to this, raving about it, about how brilliant it was. So I can't recommend this highly enough. You'll start reading it and you won't want to put it down.
That's probably, I would say, if we were saying you need a book of the century for me, that's my favorite story. I love that story beyond anything.
Yep. It is.
Planetary is fantastic.
Yes. And it's got, and it's got the twists and turns, and it's got the beginning, it's got the end, and it ran the 27 issues, and that was the story it told, and that was that.
All right, Kevin.
All right. Dan was kind enough to mention Constantine, so with that, I'm going to go ahead with my best series read was John Constantine, Hellblazer, Death in America. The social commentary alone was absolutely made it worth reading. It made you stop, put the book down for a minute, and think about how you felt about what they were saying. And it brought back some of the old feel of Hellblazer, and it brought John Constantine back. I feel that a lot of the more recent John Constantine stories were okay, but I think that this one, it brings him back to his glory days of greatness. So I'm going to go with John Constantine, Hellblazer, Death in America for my best series read.
Nice.
Always love a good Constantine.
Hell
He's a real dick in it, which is vintage
Perfect.
Constantine.
Yes.
Sale.
All right, so I kind of went with a ongoing series for this one, and I got to thank Uncle Gary again for this one.
A lot of thanks for Uncle Gary today.
I know. Well,
I'm
he showed
thankful
me
for
on this
Uncle
one.
Gary.
It started in late 2023, but I actually did not pick it up until 2024. So that was like issue 6 or issue 7. Uncle Gary, you know which one I'm talking about? Do you? No?
I thought it was Green Arrow earlier, so I'm not sure. Oh, the Incredible Hulk.
Boom! There it is. Incredible Hulk Volume 4. Philip Kennedy Johnson.
Yep.
It is
Incredible.
a great read. It reminds me of like Hulk written as a horror book again. Like he's a bit a horror character, and the addition of the Ghost Rider 44.
Yeah,
that's just amazing. So this has been my
What
best.
was his name again?
Oh,
His name was Sal.
His name is Sal. And he butts a cigarette, bums a cigarette off a kid. Hey kid, you got a cigarette?
Did you read Hellhunters 1 yet?
No, I haven't read Hellhunters 1 yet. I haven't. I have it, but I have not read it.
Okay.
All right.
So that's what I got.
All right.
Yeah.
Good choice.
My favorite take on the Hulk of all time was Immortal Hulk. And if you love the Immortal Hulk, as well you should, the current run of Hulk is an absolutely worthy successor.
Yes, it is.
100%.
What, you didn't like Spaceship Hulk?
Yeah,
I love Spaceship Hulk.
That's
ranked,
horrible.
was 45th or 46th.
All right. Next,
Hulk the movie.
yeah. Next category is best event of the year.
Mike,
And I
what was
have-
your? Oh, I can't remember. Mike, what was your best series read for
But the
Killing the Children?
That was the
yeah,
Apple
Killing the
Newsletter,
Children,
right?
yeah.
Yep. That's right.
I was like, did I miss Mike? I'm like, I know I didn't miss Mike.
I just couldn't remember. I'm old. I'm 60.
Yeah.
Travis, kick us off with your event of the year.
Okay, so this will be I'm going to throw this one back to Kev and say thank you for mentioning Jed McKay because you know he wrote one of the, I would say, probably the best Marvel crossover series that I've seen in a long time. And even though I couldn't find my run of it, which is really weird. I want to say the Blood Hunt was one of the best events of the year, and I read the Red Band edition of it, and it was fantastic. And I love how they built the story. I didn't know who the bad guy was until they revealed it. It was that good of a reveal. And then on top of it, how everything kind of is twisting into what's going to happen now in the Marvel universe. Doom is just fantastic. So sorry if I spoiled something there for some of you who haven't read it, but Blood Hunt, I would say it was the best event that I've read in a long time because it was really truly an event, and it really truly affected all the Marvel universe, and it was good. And I really, and Jed McKay, fantastic writer. Pepe Larraz is a fantastic artist.
Every panel pop.
Yeah, I mean and then just when the bad guy when we find out who the bad guy is, I'm just like, no way. And I was excited for that, and I should have known because it's Blood Hunt on who the bad guy was. It's not who I thought it was going to be. I thought for sure Dracula, but since I don't want to spoil it, I won't spoil it. But yeah, great series. Good. I loved it.
Well, and with that villain too, it's like you find out who it is, and then you find out, oh, it's not. It's this other thing, and I love how they did a thing where they tied it into an old storyline from Blade from the 70s.
I know. It was fantastic. I was so excited. It was such a great read, and I was so against it when it first came out. It was I'm not reading that. I'm not going to read some storyline. I don't want to do this. But I bought every single one of the issues.
And Marvel set that whole thing up way before the actual event, which is great. I love it when
Yeah,
they do
they
that.
they did a good job of promoting this one. It was like the same promotion they did for like the Mutant Massacre and things like that.
Yeah.
That's how it kind of felt with when it came to the promotion of it. But it was like it's an event, and I'm like I'm done with Marvel events. They all sucked lately, and then all of a sudden this one is not. This one didn't suck.
Yeah.
All right, Colossus, Ryan, what you got for us?
So I haven't read a lot of events this year, so this one was kind of easy because I didn't have a lot of options, and it's Raid on Grey Malkin. It's a pretty short. It's ongoing right now. 3 issues in, and yeah, the X-Men team and the Uncanny team and the adjectiveless X-Men team are raiding Grey Malkin, which is of course formerly the X Mansion, and it's now a prison. They're trying to save some of their teammates, and the warden, Karina Ellis, Warden Ellis, is a total you know what, and
Yes.
very hateable character.
You gotta love the hateable ones.
Yeah, I agree. And this last issue of Uncanny, Uncanny was the last one that came out, or was it?
This issue. Oh no, I think it was
X-Men.
X-Men, yeah. So the last one will be the next Uncanny.
And I really liked where the story went and what was going on. So I agree. That's a really good event.
Yeah, me too. It's been a good read for me as well.
Yeah.
So,
I'm glad you brought that up, Ryan, because of the fact that this is my first time ever getting X-Men comics. So
nice.
I'm very intrigued to jump into it.
Welcome.
Which was the X-Men character that was captured off of Cyclops' team that's in the prison there?
That would be X-Men member Beast.
The former Avenger, the Beast. Yeah.
Former X-Men.
Former Defender too.
Yeah.
But the important fact here is X-Men Beast. That's right.
The former serial banger. Beast.
Imagine waking up
time
the
of the X-Men
next
now
day with
getting
a
locked
blue hair in your shirt.
Mm-hmm.
Sunny.
All right, well, this may come as a surprise, but X-Men from the ashes. Like I said, X-Men was the huge event of X-Men coming back. All the new titles of X-Men, like I said, Uncanny and Exceptional. They've even had they've had Phoenix, they've had Storm. Even the Sentinels have their own series. I love to see the X-Men taking over. So there's just so many storylines, so many story arcs. So for me, X-Men from the ashes is my event of the year.
All right.
Nice.
Very good.
Very good. Cool. So I'm going to take a sharp left here and
please do
go with something completely different and say the entire X-Men run right now. Everything okay.
Great show.
Like Dan, I was not a big fan of the Krakoan era. I'm gonna divide the fans here. No offense against Jonathan Hickman, but I freaking hated that entire era. I'm really happy that they're bringing the X-Men back to the status quo of the way they should be. I mean, they have so many different, like Phoenix, Storm, all of them, Nyx, but the main ones, Uncanny, the self-titled one, and Exceptional X-Men, all are blending together in an overarching theme that I think is so great and so bringing back to the basics of what we all fell in love with when we first started getting into the X-Men. So yes, I'm all there with all of you guys with that.
All right. Well, I guess this is a good starting point for me for X-Men because you guys are just taking it.
I'm just disappointed that they're not using my favorite X-Men character. And they've got, they're back to like a dozen X-Men books. Where the hell is Colossus?
Thank you.
What did he?
You'll like that Wolverine Revenge comic with them.
Yeah, it's right out of my mind. That's like the one big flaw with the whole thing. He is actually going to show up in the next X-Force book. But
they did,
guys, he's an adversary again. I don't know what the hell is going on, but maybe we'll see how that story unfolds.
They did show him. They did show him playing chess with his sister.
Who's also getting her own self-titled book coming out now. So
he was playing with his sister's chest. What? what kind
you
of book
heard
is that?
me.
You know who wouldn't do that?
Who's playing chess?
Wow.
So perfectly.
No tea. No tea.
Okay. Woo, man. I was gonna say, damn, Ileana and Pitor. No idea that was going on.
They do come from a small farm.
Those Russian winters get really cold.
Really cold.
Really cold.
Really
I'm
cold.
trying so hard to steer this in another direction. So,
So tell us how you pick X-Men.
So
What happens in
I
limbo
am not
stays in
going
limbo.
to go with
That's right.
What's that?
What happens?
What
You
happens
said,
in limbo stays in limbo.
yeah.
Ouch. Ouch. Okay. Let's go ahead. Just keep going here.
His X-Books got X-rated.
X-Men. I know they did. I am not choosing X-Men for my best event. I am actually going to go with big surprise, Venom War.
Venom War.
Yeah,
Venom War. The Venom War. The Venom War book or that event has been phenomenal for me. I really feel that Eddie Brock and the Symbiont and it has really starting to stale out, and they were just reaching a while there for a story or for something. But this Venom War book has really brought it back, and now has led into an all new Venom, and it's been amazing so far. But that Venom War event, it wasn't like the the Null event where it was like
King
all
of
over
Black.
the place. Yeah, King of Black, where it was like all over the place, right? And, this Venom War was pretty much contained. There was a couple offshoots to it, but all in all, Venom War has been my event of the year.
Nice.
Good
No
event.
surprise, but great pick.
We knew we had to
Mike.
get Venom in there somewhere.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say Mike will not pick an X-Book.
X-Lax. The
X-Lax.
X-Lax that come out. The runs were great.
The runs were great.
Team.
Nice.
The sub team, right? The sub team of the X-Men.
It's been a great run.
Led by the Brown Lantern.
X-Lax is the book about the X-Men retirement home.
There we
There you
go.
go.
So I'm going to switch to the latest of the ongoing vampire series from DC. DC versus Vampires World War V.
That's good.
That is a good one.
Just so much fun. I love the Damien character as the vampire.
As if he couldn't be a bigger dick, right, Mike?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, he's a bigger dick, and then now he's a vampire. Now he's undead.
Nice.
You know?
You found a way to make everybody still hate him.
Yeah.
Yeah, even the vampires hate him. Even his own people hate him.
Yes.
Well, I enjoyed the Blood Hunt. I mean, this series has been great, and the latest one, I think, has been fantastic. And I'll have to do it like a runner-up to, and I don't know if any Absolute Power. I thought they really did a great job this year.
Yeah.
With that one. It was very hard, but I'm a big vampire fan too, so I had to go with DC.
Well, yeah, I mean,
That's what she
but
said.
Matt Rosenberg.
Yeah.
There's another one of the writers that I absolutely could have picked from this year as a great writer. I mean, he's done so many amazing books at DC, and then he also has his own independent books. Like what's the furthest place from here? It's a fantastic story. I mean,
That was a great book.
Yeah.
I agree about the DC Vampires book, and I like how they're doing that the way that they did Deceased, where they're like, here's a mini series, and then after that, here's a one shot, and then we're gonna give you another mini series, and you just keep getting, so you're not having to buy an ongoing book, but you keep getting a bunch of small series that keep the that are all in the same world, that keep the story going, and then you eventually will get an ending to it.
All right, Uncle, what you got?
First, I need to know what issue of X-Men was that where Colossus was playing with Magic's chest? I want to make sure I get that, but I mean, I've been getting them all. I just don't remember that happening.
it was X.
Magic.
It was a variant. It was a variant.
It was 69 issue.
Oh, issue 69. Wow. Wow. Was that the X-Family book? Okay.
Well, you know what happened in it is she got stuck in the dryer, and then he had to help her out.
Oh, is that what he was doing? Okay, good. Nice. So I'm going to go, like y'all, super team, evidently, but there's no X in this. And I'm going to pick a book sometimes comics can, I think we forget sometimes because we want to be very serious and grim and gritty. Comics can just be stupid fun sometimes.
Yes.
And this book is stupid fun, 7 issues.
Can I guess it?
Yes.
I know.
Justice League, Kong, and Godzilla.
Yep. Stupid.
Because I had so much fun with that book.
And, come on. This was just a blast. The Justice League fighting King Kong, fighting Godzilla. I mean,
and Aquaman stuck Godzilla in.
It's chained him to the bottom of the ocean to get him out of the way. I mean, you got Gorilla Grodd in here.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to say. You needed Gorilla Grodd in there.
Yes.
Monkey Cell.
Yeah, listen, Monkey Cell. That's right. This book, all 7 issues were just a blast. So, we had a Green Lantern. We had a power ring on Kong. Come on. How great is that? So, just, giant, green robots that they made the power rings. There's Aquaman as he's getting ready to chain. He's got Godzilla chained to the bottom of the ocean. Just again, sometimes when we get all serious about our comics, let's remember comics can be stupid fun, and we don't want to take the fun out of comics sometimes. So I applaud this book for being that. So
yeah, I'm right behind you on that pick. That's an amazing pick.
That is a fantastic pick.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Dan.
All right. Well, my event isn't a storyline so much as it's a line-wide initiative, and it's something that's still going on with DC, the DC All In. It kind of, to me, is what they were trying to do with Rebirth a few years ago, but it's like, hey, we're going to get back to the basics with the characters. Here's Justice League again, but we're going to put all the characters in it, and you could have any of them in there. And the Challenges of the Unknown, the first issue of that was fantastic.
I loved it. Yes.
Yeah, the first issue of the Adam Project, really something really intriguing. And how they had the first issue of each book that had some were books that were still ongoing, some that were just launching, where it had like the kind of uniformity in the cover design, just the white background and then the character. It's great. I was not a fan of Detective Comics for the past year or two. I didn't like what Ram V did on it. I just felt it was boring and it dragged on. I've loved it since they've had the new creative team on there. It's some of the best Batman I've read in a long time, and I still like the regular Batman books. Superman's been great, Shazam. We're getting a new Aquaman book. They just launched Metamorpho. Like, we're getting all the great classic characters, classic good takes on them, and we're getting some of these characters that they haven't, like Metamorpho and Challenges of the Unknown, Adam, some of them they haven't done much with in a while, and we're getting new books with them too. And I'm so excited. I can't wait to see what some of the what some of the next stuff that they have going on with this is. The first issue of Justice League Unlimited teased something that ought to be a really good storyline. JSA, we got a new JSA book, and anyone who's watched the channels here before knows what a big fan of that team I am. So I'm all in for DC All In, and just I can't wait to see where it goes.
I'm with you. All In has been great, and I can't wait for Phase 2, which is balls deep.
Oh God! All right, I'm totally changing the course of this.
X-Men.
Dear God! So I'm going with an event that probably none of you have read, and that would be the Catalyst War from Radiant Black. That whole event was amazing from start to finish. Now, for those who don't know, 2 characters were helming Radiant Black, and they had to go through a whole bunch of trials. But what they did was they made the event where what would happen if Marshall was one character, had Radiant Black suit, and what happened if Nathan had the Radiant Black suit. And it showed two different stories. They're culminated in the one at the end. And just to see how different their actions and decisions were and the consequences that ensued with it was just amazing. Plus, it was great to see my own old hometown get destroyed. So
That sounds personal.
I agree. Radiant
That's
Black.
personal.
That story is so amazing and great, and I love
It's so
that.
good.
And I'm behind. I'm behind in it, so I haven't. I've only read half of the Catalyst War so far, so I got to get caught up. But and I have it set aside as in my pile. But it's like new books versus reading what I'm in reading. So I have, as you guys know, I'm an avid buyer, and sometimes I buy more than I can read.
Yeah,
we've been there.
And it's not a personal attack. It was more of the fact that I was like, I know that street. That was 2 blocks away from my house.
You know it's personal.
It's so
You know it's
cool.
personal.
Jamie's like, I know that street. F that street.
Empire storyline
Yeah.
is massive.
Those,
I mean,
those
some might
bastards
say
on the
super
corner.
massive.
Yeah. Yeah.
Side tangent. There's a eatery called Dreams, and it burned down. Now it's called Embers. And in the story, they destroy embers. I was like,
Nice.
all right. On to our next category, which is top publisher. And this one we can make a little quicker. Obviously, we don't have to put everyone up. I'm gonna start this one with Sal.
All right. You're not putting everybody up.
Yeah, because it's a quick one.
Marvel.
Marvel.
Okay.
Marvel.
All right, Kevin.
I'm gonna have to mimic some of what Dan was saying. DC, because of the fact that they're finally bringing back some of the lesser-known characters that they've left behind, and it's winning me over with the Atom Project and Metamorpho and all those great characters that they're finally shining some light on. So my answer, DC.
All right.
All right.
I got to follow the Duke. DC.
DC. All right, Travis.
Oh, it's going to be Skybound Image for me.
There you go.
Okay.
It's a strong choice.
That is.
Right.
Go, and my choice is Image as well.
Oh.
Only because of the fact that everything, Ghost Machine, Radiant Universe, or Massive Universe, it everything. Uncle.
Oh, it's Ghost Machine. It's Image.
Mhm.
It's Hyde Street. It's Redcoat.
Yep.
It's Geiger. It's Junkyard Joe. It's Hornsby and Halo. It's just that whole Ghost Machine lineup. The Rockefellers. Everything they put out has been golden. So if it was, I would even pick the Imprint as the publisher of the year over Image even, but it's that Ghost Machine Imprint that has kicked ass all year.
All
right.
right. Audience picking DC a lot.
Yeah. Ryan.
Yeah.
He's making his Marvel.
That's Marvel.
That's all I read.
Dan.
Yeah, I got to go with DC. All in. They're bringing these characters back. They brought Vertigo back. Black Label books are kicking ass. It'd be nice if they put out a second issue of The Last Days of Lex Luthor. Maybe we'll get one issue this year, but for me, DC. Though Image, that's a strong choice too. A lot of great.
It is.
Yeah, it was a hard choice for me too.
It's been a great year for books across the board.
It has
Everyone's coming out with just banger after banger of a book. Sonny.
Yeah, a lot of DC and a lot of Image. X-Men. No. I love my X-Men. I am going with Image. Image just got the biggest variety of comic books, different styles, so many things.
Yeah.
You're the one who introduced me to World Tree, and like you guys were mentioning a lot of stuff earlier. Not Hyde Street. I'll go all of it. For me, Image.
Fair.
Okay.
Hey, I mean, all like Mike said, every publisher is doing great work right now. It's just a great time to be a comic fan. Just all around, like it. is just astounding, and the amount of books from different publishers I have now, it's too much.
Yeah.
Well,
Even
what was our
Mad Cave
breakdown?
and, I was like Mad Cave and Dynamite bringing back all these nostalgia characters like Space Ghost, Johnny
Yeah.
Quest, Flash Gordon. They've been Dick Tracy. Who'd think that you'd be reading a current Dick Tracy book and it'd be fantastic.
Yeah.
That was a good book. So what was our breakdown? How many DC? How many Marvel? How many Image?
I think Image won, but
Not
I think DC wanted to count
I
the
thought
chat.
DC was. Yeah.
Yeah, I think DC won it. Hang on.
thank you.
Yeah,
Among
it did.
Us, is it close? I know with the audience, it's DC.
Yeah, they won Among Us by one.
Yeah,
with
I was thinking.
in second. So, with that being said, let's jump in to our covers of the year. And Dan, if you would so graciously go through and pick who had what.
All right. Well, I'll start with myself since that's the first one I put in, and it was all the way from the beginning of the year. And this is Batman 142.
Oh, nice.
Fantastic cover.
And
So
you can't
cool.
really tell it from this picture, but the foil variant.
It's amazing.
I love the crazed look that's in Joker's eye. I love the rain that's there and like the kind of drool coming out of his mouth and this jagged, crooked teeth and the ha-ha-has in the background with the purple and green, kind of hypnotizing swirl. And just, this one came out in the beginning of the year for me and it made my short list. And it's just stayed there all year. And here's my copy of it too.
Oh, that's so cool.
Just foily goodness.
Foily goodness.
I love it.
Yeah, the next one that was loaded up is Colossus's.
Yeah, it's Fall of the House of X #3, Miguel Mikado.
Nice.
Surprise, surprise. It's Colossus cover. I just love it. It's just so powerful. I love the white background with the black kind of foreground rock that he's busting through. I like the style of the art and how he drew Colossus. Like I like Colossus when he's like big and he's beefy and it's a great cover. And I got a few copies of it myself.
I've got one slabbed. It's great.
I want a 9.8, so I bought a few raw, and I'm just kind of sitting on them until I
love the power. You feel the power of that.
Yeah.
I love it when they give Colossus the beard. I love the beard on Colossus.
And I
two runners up. I gotta throw these two as runners up there. This one's Alex Maleev, and this one's Marco Strazo. Both were just awesome covers.
Throw it up there for okay.
Oh, I'll throw them.
Go ahead.
I like on the Colossus one they made the metal look like metal.
Yeah.
I don't have the Virgin one. I've got the one with the trade dress on it, but it's fantastic.
Nice.
Gary, you're up next with the one that I might have picked if you hadn't have picked it.
Yep. There were this is by Lee Bermejo. This is Zorro, Man of the Dead. Again, I really love this series. This was an alternate cover to it. And I tell you what, there were a couple Batman Robin covers that I really wanted to pick, but I figured Zorro wasn't going to get enough love. And that is just a cool cover, with the bike, with, he's got the sword in the air, the cape flowing, and then the lights in the Z for Zorro. That was the icing on top of the cherry on top of that. That is just perfect, a perfect cover. So, and that was also early in the year. I think that was a February book, and it's just held my attention all year. I know Booge loves that cover a lot too. So I just thought, let's represent. Let's give a character that nobody else is going to pick some love.
It's a good cover.
Same with that Colossus book. That one was earlier in the year. Krakoa still was going on. So
yeah.
All right, we'll go with the big boss man next.
Surprise, surprise. Wolverine #1.
Nice. That's a good one.
This is the first time I actually special ordered a book from my shop because I saw it on Comic Hub, and I was just like, why is this not on my list. I need this, and you can't tell from it, but the foil of it just is spectacular.
It is.
Like
Yep.
Gleason just kills it with every cover he's doing.
Oh.
Very nice.
Well, he
Oh,
got that at the ear, nose, and throat doctor. When he goes to the proctologist, will you get that cover too?
Yes.
That is awesome.
Yeah, that's a really cool one.
That is great.
It is.
And
Very
yeah,
cool.
we got some. Pam likes the Namor one.
Oh, Pam, let's not talk about the deep. I went into that theater a boy and came out a man.
Yeah, and Booge backs you up on that. On that
He was playing
as
chess.
well. Yep. Next one up is Sunny.
Oh, that's
Oh,
cool.
that's a nice one.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Oh,
Very
yeah.
cool.
Yeah, Alex Ross, and I really like how you see each member of the Fantastic Four really well, and then you get to see the Inhumans as well. You even get to see the Watcher in the corner there. Yeah, so just love seeing a great Fantastic Four cover. I like
That
That's awesome.
that was a throwback to some Kirby with the motion,
Yeah,
with everything on that. Yeah, Ross was throwing some love to Kirby with that cover. That's a fantastic cover, Sonny.
I love Ross's version of the Human Torch. It goes back to the early 40s and 50s stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I love how he makes Reed look like the professor from Gilligan's Island.
Ru-
Like we even
Russell
got lights
Johnson.
on there at the bottom. Yeah.
Russell Johnson is that fellow's name. I don't know
Yeah.
why I know that, but just
That's 2 years in a row for an Alex Ross cover for you, Sonny.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Well, with that one,
he's got a
that's awesome. I mean, you're right. That is definitely Kirby-esque in all of his aspects, and I'm pretty sure that's kind of been his whole influence for this whole series that he's been doing on all these books. Because you look at every single one of them, and they have that Kirby feel to the Fantastic Four. That you look back at the old Kirby covers, and you can see the Thing looks like the Thing from Kirby. Everybody kind of has that feel, which I think is really brilliant stuff.
I think in general, Alex Ross is like heavily influenced by Kirby. Like everything I've ever seen from him just gives me like, oh, that's Kirby only painted and brought to life. You know, like
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad Ross didn't do a cover where Johnny Storm was banging the centipede because that's my most disturbing moment of the year.
We still got 2025. to go.
It's for Valentine's Day, you know.
All right, Travis, you're up next.
Yeah, I went a little bit different this year.
Oh, so cool. Love it.
So this was my first graded book, the one that I drew the cover, and
Nice.
It was a commission for 35 cents and or still 35 cents, and
He made Kevin throw on his glasses for this one.
Yeah, you did. I'm all in DC.
It was such a fantastic experience drawing.
Wow.
Then going through and with 35 cents going, hey, David going, you gotta get this graded, man. We're gonna get you set up, and got me set up, and that was fantastic. It pushed me, and that I appreciate that a ton. So I had to share this as my favorite cover of the year.
That
That's
is
amazing, man. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Here's Cosmic Ray in your eye.
Ah, you got it in my eye again.
That's what she said.
All right, next one up is Mike.
Oh
yeah. There's a lot of those things signed in Baltimore.
So cool.
Mr. Philip Kennedy Johnson there. I remember when he was told me and Gary about this new character he had coming out.
Yep.
And we are absolutely going to love because he knows I especially love the war books. And Gary's a big fan of the Ghost Rider, and this character came out, and this cover, I just absolutely love it. You know, love the Hulk, love this Ghost Rider 44.
Yeah.
Carrying the Tommy gun on the bike. Can't beat it.
That is awesome.
Fantastic.
Stuff. Old school horror there, right there.
It's such a. Oh, and the chat is digging your work too, Travis.
Yep.
Nice.
have you guys seen that Spirit of Vengeance 1 cover from this year? That just made me think of it as a really, really good cover from the year too.
What's just the cover again that you were talking about?
Spirits of Vengeance.
That's one of the motorcycle one.
The
with
new
the-
series. It's got a few Ghost Riders on it. And
Oh,
yeah.
It's got
Yeah.
Danny and Johnny. Danny and
Yeah.
Johnny.
Yeah, it has
so
Danny
good.
and Johnny
Nice.
on it.
So good.
Yeah.
All right, so next up is Kevin. That about 8 minutes after he said, "Yeah, he'll do the show," he sent me this one.
All right, but I didn't write down any information. I know that this is a special edition one made for New York Comic Con. I love the fact that like the radar sense is forming the head of Daredevil. It's such. I'm a huge fan of like the Spiderweb Spider-Man cover, the X-Ray Wolverine cover. Just the special effect covers I think are just so cool. And this one, I think the artwork is just beautiful. And like I said, just kind of giving an homage to his power. It's great. Dan, do you have the information as to, I think this is Daredevil number 15, but I don't remember who the artist was.
You said it was Daredevil 14,
14.
cover by John Tyler Christopher for New York Comic Con.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think that's so
I gotta
cool.
find that now because that looks amazing.
It's almost like Money. You know how the line work of Money art,
Right.
the art. It's
Yeah.
the same kind of thing. It's awesome.
All right, and last but not least, bringing up the rear is Salvatore.
Oh,
All right.
Oh,
Yeah.
That's a great cover. This is by
yeah.
Dustin Nugent.
Oh, wow.
Got that right. And I actually had a lot of good Venom covers, but unfortunately I had to X a lot of them off because they came out last year. I mean, the 2023, not 2024. And I had a couple of GL ones, but this one won it out for me. I just love that cover. But
It's a
the
great cover.
aerial effects are just amazing to me.
Yeah.
Love it. Love it.
You
Love it.
know, it reminds me of the oh my god, video game Injustice. The when like Green Arrow's ultimate ability, just
Oh,
sending
yeah, I know what you're talking about.
right.
Yeah.
Make
All
people
right.
look like pin
Everybody-
cushions.
Was that everybody
Yeah.
then?
Yeah, that's everyone.
All right, awesome. So we're on to our last category for this show, and it is our Legacy Award. Now, we've had some greats so far within the last 3 years prior, but this one, actually, I had to make a wheel generator in order to pick one because everyone had a different, there was no unanimous decision. So without further ado, I'm going to let Uncle Gary announce who the winner is this year.
All right. So the legacy winner is somebody I don't know if y'all are familiar with, but there was a cat that's out of Maryland. His name he's done a few books that you might be familiar with. But anyway, there's a favorite cover of mine that he happened to do. But this fella's Maryland's own. I don't know, Bernie Wrightson. So Bernie
I've heard of him.
the man, my favorite cover of all time, and everybody that people picked were well worthy of this. So the spin of the wheel happened to go my way. The only problem with Bernie Wrightson is I wish there was, enough material, about Bernie and that you could see some of Bernie's work, that maybe I would have laying around. This guy, horror. He was influenced heavily by the EC books in the 50s. Mostly
I love that cover.
Graham Ingalls. Yeah, I love this. Mostly Graham Ingalls, who would sign things ghastly. And just Bernie was amazing. And of course, his signature piece, his signature work is, co-creator of Swamp Thing. But just the perspective on this from the grave. Oh, my goodness. Of course, the great House of Secrets 92. The fact signed by Wheezy. And of course, my favorite cover of all time. His first work was in House of Mystery 179 was his first comic work, but he had appeared in the pages of Eerie and Creepy. He would send to the letter columns. As much as I love, and here's some of his aforementioned Creepy work, and as much as I love his, his Swamp Thing work, which is what I love the most, and I'm lucky enough to have this great hardcover signed by Bernie to me. So
Uh,
I got to meet the man one time, and I think my comic collecting life would be incomplete had I not met him. So I'm very grateful that I had that opportunity. And for some of you to think that maybe he didn't do any Marvel stuff, he sure did.
Oh yeah.
He just fantastic artist in any. I mean, look at this. So I know,
wow.
he's more closely associated with DC. He also did a great Hulk 197 cover with Hulk and Man Thing on it. That's really great. This Hulk Thing book right here, Jim Starlin, Bernie Wrightson. I've got this signed by both these fellas, and that was nice. His masterpiece, though, if you haven't seen it, is his work on the Frankenstein.
Greatest ever.
Yes, the Frankenstein. It's Mary Shelley's novelization. Marvel Comics produced it, and he did 50 prints for it. And this is his lab scene.
Wow.
It does not do justice to see it here in this format like this. This is the original of this, sold a few years ago for over $1 million. I have a puzzle of this hanging on my wall, and I'm pretty damn good at puzzles. It's a 1,000 piece puzzle. This was the hardest damn puzzle I have ever done with all the black and white. And
look at the details.
Yes. The details on everything on here. The beaker, he's got some of the in the Frankenstein book. There's some that have blades of grass, and he's got every freaking blade of grass detailed. It is amazing. When he passed away, this was a wonderful tribute that was done inside comics for him, and it's just beautiful. Where he did the company that did the Frankenstein Alive stuff. The greatest Bernie Wrightson book I have is this wonderful Artifact edition. He died in 2017, but this guy is, what he does things that no one else can even dream of. We've told the story where Russ Braun, thought he had made an impression with Joe Orlando, the DC editor, and then Orlando shows him some of Bernie's work, and Russ Braun got crestfallen because he's you showed him something he could never attain that level. So this guy is amazing, and just to show you what some of his original pages would look like, for Christmas, my daughter Danielle got me this Muck Monster portfolio, and our good friend Chris had this portfolio, and he signed, and it was actually signed by Bernie. But just to give you an idea of his, what his pages look like, the detail on the hair, Bernie. When you have Stephen King, Guillermo del Toro, Joss Whedon, all these, Greg Nicotero from The Walking Dead, when you have all these great creators and filmmakers and writers pay tribute to you, you're one hell of a influencer. And that's what he was. Chris, look at this. Look, come on, look at that. Who the hell can do that? I mean, look at the detail. Come on, this ooze coming from the mountainside. I mean, this is just, yep. His Frankenstein Alive, Pam, you're absolutely right. So this, these pages that I got in this portfolio are just amazing. And from everybody that had met him, Prince of a Man, his friends, his family, his co-workers, whenever we, Mike and I have met quite a few people that have run into him, and everybody from Palmiotti, to Mike Grill, they all have wonderful stories to tell about Bernie Wrightson. And he is at the top of my Mount Rushmore. And I just think his his work, his ability. His work is so unique. There's no, there's no, but sometimes you see Kelly Jones and you think Kelly Jones is kind of in the neighborhood, and Kelly Jones is amazing, but sometimes you get somebody that's a one and only. Bernie is a one and only, and I'm thankful I got to meet him. I'm thankful I have these works that he has done that I get to look at. I'm very thankful I have this venue on this channel that I get to talk about Bernie Wrightson and some of these other great artists. I know we don't talk about, that some fellas even on this station had never talked about Jim Aparo or Nick Cardy. And so for me able to talk about those guys and to bring Bernie into the fold where people can see more of the things he did besides just Swamp Thing, which everybody knows, but he did all this other wonderful work. So Bernie Wrightson, Guillermo del Toro, when he passed, said he had lost his dark star of inspiration, and that's what he was. So I'm thankful that the wheel spun, that I could give Bernie some love, and like I said, this is his masterpiece right here.
Yeah, that's amazing.
And the fact that somebody owns this and paid over $1 million, that's pretty damn cool.
Yeah, it is a masterpiece, though. Yeah. So.
Yeah, that's incredible. That's
like I said, when y'all get a chance, if you haven't seen that lab scene, bring it up on a computer or something like that, and just try to take your time looking at it and seeing. And it's a really big piece. The original, it is huge. He spent 5 years of his life doing those Frankenstein drawings, and also bring that up, and you can see him. He did 50 different drawings, and they are just amazing. So, Bernie Wrightson, an artist. Of course, we love comics, but he is an artist in any medium, in any field, by any definition. He is Bernie Wrightson, artist.
Gary, hold up your Swamp Thing 9 again.
Swamp Thing 9.
He's wearing it.
Yeah, I'm wearing it.
Yeah.
I know. Sal's got.
And Sal.
Yeah, this is my 8.5. I do have a 9 something, but Sal has I think I have a 9.4. Sal's got a 9.6. Yes, he does. So, Jelly.
But again, thanks to you, because you got this for me at that show. So.
I've got quite a few. I got a couple people here have gotten.
Yep, I got one too with a very special note from Uncle Gary himself.
Dan's got one.
I got one that was gifted to me by Uncle Gary, and then I gifted one to him.
Pam, yes, he did. Pam, you're absolutely right. Wrightson Kong 2 is a great Wrightson cover that people don't think about, and so Bernie. Well deserved. Left this world way too young. There's a lot more art he had to give us. So I do have a signed copy of Swamp Thing 9 by Bernie. So that's special.
That's nice.
Yeah. So that's
amazing.
that is.
Got 13 copies of that book, or 14 now. 14. So,
All right. Well, that covers the Codex Awards again for this year. Thank you, everybody that's in the chat. Thank you, everyone that's watching right now. Thank you to our guests, Travis and Ryan, for joining us. I hope you guys had a good time.
Thank you, guys.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
But guys,
thank you for sharing that with us.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean,
and I don't know how this show got so filthy. I think everybody's a little embarrassed that it went that way, and I'm apologizing for them.
on behalf of myself, ladies and gentlemen, thank you again for tuning in. We hope you have a fantastic 2025 and pick up some comics, read them, talk to us about them, talk to some friends about them. Just read them and love them and cherish them. So as always, from us to you, we hope you have a great year.